lot of these camps. Like the spring camp and the regular camp. He's really good. He's going to be a heck of a player. He's going to get a chance to practice. So who knows? Maybe he ends up getting played. Like he's a skilled. He's like a poor man's. Mike stuck around with us. You guys had Charlie and Dom. He was a mess up. And he came down to us, and then we didn't know what was going on.
They're just kids. I know the fans, unrealistic expectations a lot of times.
We're betting on these games.
It matters. I don't have the money to bet. I only get a little allowance for my wife.
And you bet on the OHL games now?
I would.
They were talking about it at one time. They were allowing games.
Sponsored by River Casino. Remember all the buildings used to have it, and then they got rid of that after.
Does this turn off, guys? Still on. Okay, what do we got? Oh, it's only 20 to 7 or something. How was your summer?
I met Wyatt Johnson's family as a cottage. How are you?
Hey, Owen, how you doing? I signed.
I get you a bunch of. I gotta work with you, I guess. I gotta get you a bunch of those little sneakers, like the highlight and then the next one, the skate. Okay.
I signed him to a professional tryout. I couldn't get a hold of him.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
It's a PTO.
Good little pack.
AI says, Art, have you advertised that we're on YouTube? And what? Okay, so tell me the all the socials, like all the info. Now known as X. And where do they go on YouTube to find us? At OHL Battalion.
Last year, these teams were fighting Battalion for that last playoff spot. We got to get
Ottawa fought hard right to the end. Does that mean Chris and I have to dance? No? Are we going to be facing the camera at all? How many chatting with people? Is anything you want us to say, like a shout out to? If anything, sort of like just the live chat, right?
Tried to trade for him, Voodoo, and the guy will never trade his spots. Oh, awesome. That's his girlfriend. Okay. Where's he stationed, Tim? In Cawthon. Okay. And she's closer to Lehman. Oh, Jesus. Like 11 hours. Wow, she's closer to her brother. Yes, but she's from there and he's from the area. I suggested they rent an apartment in Huntsville. Yeah. Meet there on weekends. Yeah, there you go. Jeez. Well, good for them. Nice girl. Anyway, yeah, it was 2 weeks ago, this coming Friday. Okay. Nice. Well, I'm glad there's no video of me. You can't defeat me. No. So Jackson Williams just committed to Wisconsin. Committed. He's a star play, star. I think he played in the Lincoln Gretzky in Canada.
USA.
Or USA, that's right. They won, right?
Yeah.
Native of Cary, North Carolina. Jackson Williams. Gold medal from the Lincoln Gretzky. That's right. They upset Canada. Well, I don't know if they upset Canada now, right?
Is that it went overtime or something? Or shootouts or whatever?
Are you guys all good for now?
I think so.
Awesome. Awesome. Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens tonight. Give me a call, send me a text, let me know. I'll be around, so I'll check in.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the consumption
Well, good evening, hockey fans, and welcome to the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens. Ranjan Rupal here, joined in the broadcast booth by Chris Dawson. This is the first home preseason game for the North Bay Battalion. You know what's hard about this is you feel like you gotta yell. When I have headphones on, you don't feel like
And the same with me. I usually have headsets when we do our other games.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to yell, or else I'll blow up my vocal cords in 20 minutes. Good evening, hockey fans, and welcome to the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens. It's preseason action here in North Bay. The North Bay Battalion hosting the Ottawa 67's. I'm counting on it.
You gotta do real selfie. Ranch. I asked, I know what we did last year, but I asked about, about pregame meal, because I was sure last year they didn't have pregame meals. So I'm actually kind of shocked that they have it consistent.
At the
I don't
exhibition.
think they had one exhibition.
Yeah, no, they didn't have any of these papers either, really. Is this thing all full of zeros?
Yeah, is it?
Yeah. I hope Ruin Noranda, you know, they're playing games against Ruin Noranda, but they're,
I can't believe they're playing with the map. It's so small.
yeah.
But then again, they have the upper 17s up.
Yeah. Ruin Noranda is going to be in our standings for some reason.
Well, because they're playing Sudbury, right? Yeah, they're playing Intermission.
And Ottawa's playing that here in the season. So that now, but it's just, it fucks up the way the standings look.
Yes.
But I guess you got to have them in there.
Well, we hosted Sudbury and Miranda in 2007 before the hockey went here, because the Sudbury Memorial Gardens was Memorial Arena was being closed for renovations. So we played Bruin here.
That's all about, no, you figured it out. I was working. Yeah.
Thomas Vandenberg, right, from the USHL. He's another new face for the
Yeah.
watch for today. Is he playing? Yeah, he's the third line center.
From the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders. Okay, we are on in 4 minutes. We might as well start chatting now. I'm gonna, Gerald, gonna do a welcome at 7 on the dot. And well, there's a lot of anticipation here in North Bay. These two teams, 8th and 9th place respectively in the conference last year. And both organizations looking to make the move up the standings.
Yeah, absolutely. North Bay Battalion have really built up, taken a stock of draft picks over the course of the last maybe season and a half, Range, and you know we're going to really see a lot out of that 08 group, strong 08 group, three number one draft picks in Parker Vaughan, Ryder Carey, and what we enjoy Ryder Cali to confuse the broadcaster, but that should be a great array of talent, and then you sprinkle in, you know, the free agent pickup last year of Nick Wellenreiter, and obviously the growth and development of Liram Avedowski, who's going to get an opportunity to play against his brother again today here in preseason. So I think it could be a very exciting season again for the Battalion, and I think fighting for a playoff spot. I don't see this team battling tooth and nail to try to get into the playoff spot. I see them more trying to push their way up the standings. Maybe not a perennial powerhouse, but certainly a team that's, you know, kind of middle or upper echelons of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and I think an objective might be our goal. You always set goals at the beginning of the season, right? You're no stranger to that. You don't broadcast the goals to the public, but internally you might be thinking we want to be in a position to have home ice advantage in the first round. Try to aim for that number 4 spot.
Absolutely, you know, and you know, I mean, we talked about the forward group. I mean, they've got some exciting pieces on the back end too, and you know, like the Battalion did last year, getting Nick Wellenreiter. We have a University of Michigan commit in Brant Harper, who's in the first pairing today, and we'll get a first look at him in preseason action here at the Gardens, but really impressive during training camp this year. And then I think a guy that we really expect to have a big season on the back end is Kent Greer.
Well, a lot of expectations for Kent Greer. Whether it's fair or not, he has been touted as the replacement to Ty Nelson. I hate to put that responsibility on a 16-year-old because there really is only one Ty Nelson, but Kent Greer showed a lot of offensive IQ, hockey IQ, in terms of managing the puck from the blue line and being creative with it that you might not normally expect from a 16-year-old.
What I really liked about him last year, Range, is, I mean, you look at his size and you compare him to a guy like Ty Nelson. Ty Nelson was probably the same height, but Ty Nelson was built like a fire hydrant, whereas Greer is a little bit of a slighter, you know, more like a Lane Hudson type of body size. So he had to be quicker and had to use his smarts more to get himself out of trouble than maybe, you know, a guy like Ty Nelson, who, even though when he was 17 years old was, you know, a lot stronger, he has to use his speed and his hockey senses to the max.
Well, you know what? Why don't we then look tonight at 2 08 defensemen, Kent Greer of the Battalion and Cohen Ishkokigan of the Ottawa 67's, both elite young defensemen in this league, and they'll be going head-to-head. I don't think it's preseason hockey, but those two are probably approaching this as a real game tonight.
Oh, absolutely, and obviously Cohen, being a Northern Ontario lad too, he gets a huge following from the Manitoulin area every time he goes to Sudbury, North Bay, or Sault Ste. Marie. So certainly that's going to be exciting for him, and certainly wants to build off being you know, one of the top rookie defensemen in the OHL last season.
And you know what this league is looking for? Zaid Perek. Who's going to be the next Zaid Perek in this league? And that's obviously a Calgary Flames first-round pick out of the Saginaw.
I'm sure Kent Greer wouldn't mind trying to follow in those type of footsteps with his offense. I don't know if he has the capability to be that good, but I mean, we're talking all world the way Zane Perek, you know, getting you know, over 100 points from the back end, you know, and you know, I mean, Saginaw was obviously won the Memorial Cup a couple of years ago, but you know, they maybe weren't as strong as they were last season, but he still was able to dominate last year with maybe not as strong of a roster as the year that they hosted the Memorial Cup.
We are 1 minute to air. Well, good evening, hockey fans, and welcome to North Bay Battalion Hockey, streaming live on OHL Battalion, which is the North Bay Battalion socials handle. It's Runjan Rupel here in the broadcast booth, joined by General Manager of the Powassan Voodoos, Chris Dawson. And Chris, we've got an exhibition game here at the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens, and there's a bit of a buzz here already early in September.
Yeah, these are two teams, Ranj, that, battled for a playoff position last year. The Battalion ended up coming out on top, but I think both these teams and a lot of these players on both rosters have a lot to prove. And, this is still early in the preseason. Some of these guys know that they may get, some of the younger guys get a little bit more opportunity. It's probably one of the last games where we're going to see a lot of NHL picks, like, Mike McIver going to Anaheim, along with Ethan Procession, for instance, and then, of course, Liram Avedovsky as well, going to the Minnesota Wild. But this will be a chance, maybe the last group of preseason games where you'll see some of the, the real top end guys, and then as we move forward, is more of an opportunity for guys to try to, make an impact.
Well, the preseason, they say it doesn't mean anything, but I think in junior hockey, it means a heck of a lot. And some of the jobs are already claimed, and players are now just trying to show the coaches that there might be some chemistry forming, even though this is only the second preseason game of the season.
And for that, I got to throw a shout out to Jamie Henderson, co-general manager in the NOJHL with the Sioux Thunderbirds, and he's certainly done a lot of great work for the Ottawa 67's as a scout. So Jamie, I hope you enjoy in some of your Ottawa prospects here at North Bay Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens.
Well, we might as well welcome our viewers in the National Capital Region following their Ottawa 67's here at OHL Battalion, watching us on YouTube. We've got a lot of young players, and North Bay Battalion have a lot of players out of the Ottawa area. It seems to be a trend that Adam Dennis and John Winstanley, the GM of the battalion, who came by and said hello just a minute ago, that North Bay looking east, not always looking south to the GTHL, but finding some good players in Eastern Ontario.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, John Winstanley has a long history with the Junior Canadians program, but you're right, there are some pretty solid young prospects on the battalion from the east portion of our province. Aaron Enright, who is a monster on the back end, is certainly one. Devon Brown, a young lad from the Ottawa area as well, who I'll get to see a little bit with the Voodoos. He's getting a chance to play today. He's been really solid in our camp, and from what I understood when he was here, he did a really good job, trying to make this roster, or at least get in some affiliate games and earn a spot. And that's what it's all about, is really trying to earn a spot. There's so many different battles going on between the
Hey
forwards,
fans, welcome
the
back to the
defense,
Boart
and even in goal
Longyear
today
Memorial
that we can't
Gardens.
even
I
have
hope
the
you
time
guys
to
are
talk
ready for the
about, but it's what makes
25-26
preseason
Battalion season.
very
Tonight we take on
When
the
you go through
Ottawa
the list of
67's.
Battalion
Let's
players who are from the
go!
Ottawa area. You mentioned Enright and Devon Brown, who last year played with Arnprior in the EOJHL. But there's also Charlie LaRock from Canada. And I'm just going down the list.
Ladies
Carter
and
Kunapasky.
gentlemen,
He's
boys
gonna be
and
starting
girls,
this
let's
game
welcome
for
to the
Battalion
ice
on
shore,
the blue line.
North
And
Bay
Kunapasky is from
Battalion!
And we also have, obviously, some players from the Ottawa 67's from that area.
Right, Ken Greer, of course, too.
Yeah, Kent Greer from Renfrew, Ontario. So pretty good representation from Eastern Ontario.
Absolutely. And going back to the opportunity.
Starting tonight for the battalion, in goal, number 30, Jack Lisson. On defense, number 15, Carter Kunapasky. And number 6, Brent Harper. At right wing, number 29, Liram Avedovsky. And at left wing, number 28, Nick Wellenrider. And at center, number 13, Ignat Pazzi.
And we're just trying to talk over AJ.
The battalion assistant coaches are Bill Holder, Matt Marquardt, and Nate McDonald. And the head coach is Ryan Olahan.
Iggy Pazzi starting at center for the battalion between Avedovsky and Wellenrider. as you said, Chris, and Carter Kunapaski paired up with Brant Harper. Kunapaski, a 09 birthday, drafted in the second round of the priority selection. Well, right now, we're going to take a moment for the singing of O Canada, Linda Birch behind the mic.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command, car ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix, ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Linda Birch in preseason form. Looks like she's ready for playoff action here at the Boart Longyear. A great rendition of O Canada as usual. And the lights now on here in North Bay. Starting in goal for the North Bay Battalion is Jack Lisson. He was number 1B last year for the battalion behind Mike McIver. Mike McIver's on the bench, not expecting action here tonight. And for the Ottawa 67's, Jaden Nelson, who was phenomenal as a young goaltender in this league last year, getting the start for the Barber Poles. The referees for tonight's game, Lacey Sanuk and Andre Grugru. The linesmen, Griffin St. Onge and Charlie Giesler, as they get ready for preseason game number 2 for the battalion. Of course, they started out on the right foot with a big win in Owen Sound.
Yeah, an exciting game coming from behind against Scott Ray, and obviously maybe a bit of an emotional game too for former battalion forward Jacob Therrien getting an opportunity to play against his own old team for former battalion coach Scott Ray, and certainly a slow start by the battalion, but ended up coming back down 3-1 and ended up scoring 3 unanswered goals to win that one 4-3.
First action on home ice for the battalion, and we are underway. Iggy Potsy at center for the battalion between Amadovsky and Wellenreiter. Carter Kunapaski and Brant Harper on the back end. Zach Hubin starting at center for the 67's between Spencer Bowes and Caden Kelly. Caleb Deach and Jack Johnson on the back end. Johnson recovers, gives it up in front and through the legs. Iggy Potsy tried to slip it through the 5-hole. Nelson making a stop. A bit of a giveaway early, maybe some nerves from the youngster Jack Johnson.
Yeah, a lot of emotion here for a preseason game right off the hop. Hubin with a big hit right off the face-off against Potsy, and then on the net drive there was a little bit of chaos in front of Nelson that's all been cleaned up by the officials. Doesn't look like there's going to be any calls here.
Well, these two teams need no introduction. They have a lot of rivalry going on between them. And as we were talking before the broadcast, both clubs went down to the wire trying to nail down that 8th and final playoff spot last year. It was a real hunt.
Yeah, and I remember downstairs during the media opportunity, you could hear the rumbling as the 67's came off the ice after a big battalion win that kind of gave them some breathing room, and you could really feel it was like a playoff atmosphere in that game late in the season that the battalion were able to pull off the win.
Ottawa still has their top line out there. They're trying to get off, and walking out from the side, and a stop made by Jack Lisson. And here is Parker Vaughn. Vaughn dumps it in.
Good
Up
job
in the
there by
corner.
Lisson going and sealing off that net drive by the 67's.
Battle in the corner, player upended, and our first minor of the game coming up. And Ishkakigan having words with the linesman. He doesn't think he should be going to the box, but that's exactly where Cohen Ishkakigan from Manitoulin Island is headed. And North Bay going to special teams early in this game, a minute 3 in.
Looks like we're going to see the two import picks on this first power play, or this power play unit, with Ryder Carey on the right side.
Evgeny Dubratsev between Pronin and Carey. And at the point, Brant Harper and Adrian Manzo.
Yeah, Manzo 3 assists in the preseason game in Owen Sound.
Long shot missed the net. Pronin is bumped. Puck sent to the line and out. Brock Chitteroni wearing number 17 on the penalty kill. Watching Harper, and Harper crosses the red line and fires it in deep in the left wing corner. Played by Nelson into the corner. North Bay on the attack. Puck comes back to the point. It was unmanned as Manzo had pinched in. 67's getting a change in. Vandenberg is out there. Chris, you talked about Vandenberg coming up from the USHL. A good play by Vandenberg to get the puck down the ice.
Yeah, he's a player that's expected to help boost the offense for the 67's this offseason. You know, probably hoping, much like Wellenreiter came in and you know, became a key contributor for the troops last year.
Jax Pereira, wearing the birdcage, enters his own, drops for Briar Long, back to Greer, far side. Here's Laird in front, and the puck comes back to the line. A nice setup attempt by Nolan Laird. Shot from Greer, tipped in front, bounces wide. Pereira sends it back to the point. He's wearing number 22, that's Brendan Miller's old number. Puck comes to Laird on the near side. He circles, trying to keep it away from Whitehead, who's an effective penalty killer for the 67's. Laird into the slot. One-timer by Briar Long from one knee. He's got it in front, but the puck hopped over the blade of his stick.
Good chance there, and you know, when Briar Long gets the puck on his stick, he's got a great release. Just ended up only getting a portion of that puck on that good opportunity.
Here's Iggy Pazzi with a burst of speed, but kept to the outside by the veteran defender, Frankie Morelli. Penalized player Ishkakagan is back on the ice. Puck bounces in behind the net. Caleb Deach sidesteps a hit from Amadovsky. Deach drags the puck out to center. Here's Kelly. Takes the shot. Stop made by Lisson. The puck hopped up over top of the net and in behind the goal. Puck comes back to the line. Ekberg, far side. Ekberg is a Carolina Hurricanes 7th round pick for Ottawa. And out comes North Bay to center ice. Iggy Pazzi takes it off his skate. Tried to get a shot through. Morelli got in his way.
Nice play by the veteran defender there to get a stick on that puck and take the shot away.
Ekberg trying to show some of his puck handling skill. Sends it back to the point. That shot ripped wide of the net. North Bay now in their own zone trying to get it out. Puck lifted out to center ice to take some of the pressure off. North Bay getting a change in. Devon Brown, who you talked about, on the ice wearing number 7. That's Miles Liberati's old number.
Showing some good patience there behind the net here on the D-to-D.
Some nice poise. Yeah, Amadovsky, that's Nathan Amadovsky, was pressuring him. Here's a steal. It's White on the right side. Brings it to the forehand. Stop made by Lisson. A big cheer from the crowd here for that stop by Lisson on a break by White.
Stayed square to the shooter and let the shooter make the first move and made a nice save.
White starts this game as a third pairing defenseman. There's a shot. Cam Warren, the first player taken by the Battalion in this spring's priority selection, wearing number 14, getting a good shot on goal. On a nice setup by Parker Vaughn. Out comes Ottawa to center. Puck sent in deep. Kingwell out there for Ottawa, and Vandenberg steps across the line. Forced to the outside by Harper, and then the puck ends up over the boards and out of play.
Yeah, a lot of players don't, or fans may not understand how good the hockey is in the USHL. A lot of people in the U.S. really consider the USHL Tier 1 junior hockey, much like so basically the U.S. version of Major Junior. So when you get a guy coming in who was an impact guy in the USHL, he's likely going to be someone to keep an eye on in the OHL too.
For those of you who are stargazing, number 16 for Ottawa is Jackson, spelled Jaxon Williams, and he is the son, of course, of Justin Williams, Mr. Overtime, with a long NHL career.
Yeah, his son had a pretty exciting summer, winning a gold medal with Team USA at the Gretzky Holinka Cup, and then just recently got a commit to the University of Wisconsin. So strange conversation that you and I would have never had last year. It's crazy how much the landscape has changed with the NCAA rules and talking about D1 commits playing on OHL teams.
A year ago, you're right, Chris, a year ago we would never be discussing who had committed to what.
And,
it was
people
not part of
wondered
our...
about the Ryder Cali trade. Harvard commit who didn't report to the Sioux, and Adam and John Winstanley made the deal with the Greyhounds, and it was probably only a month later that all of a sudden, Ryder Cali can affiliate and he can be a player.
Jackson Williams got throttled as he entered the Battalion zone and looked a bit dazed and confused as he made his way back to the Ottawa 67's bench. That's the biggest hit of the game so far. Carry across the line ahead to Debratsev. He was knocked off his skates. A good play by the defenseman Johnson. Now a hunt for the puck. Laird gets a weak shot towards the goal. North Bay pressuring. Whitehead can't get it out. Laird sends it far side. Manso with a shot. Morelli getting a stick in front of that one. Bouncing puck comes to the side of the net, and Nelson, having seen enough of this ping pong ball bouncing around in front of him, decides to cover up.
Good job by the 67's to kind of block out the home plate area on Dubrovtsev as he was trying to drive to the middle of the ice. They did a good job trying to keep the pucks to the outside, and Nelson was able to just cover up that puck without too much happening.
Fans, North Bay Kids
Take
Sport
this
50-50
opportunity
has
to
launched a
review
3-game
some of the
combined draw
Battalion
with special
socials.
pricing of
It's always
200 tickets for
at
$40
OHL
starting tonight
Battalion,
and ending
whether it's
during the Royal
Instagram,
LePage home
Facebook,
opener on Thursday,
Twitter,
September
now known as
18th,
X,
when the Oshawa
YouTube,
Generals
or
are the visitors
TikTok.
for a 7 o'clock
And
start.
even though we're
The
on
guaranteed
TikTok,
minimum
Chris,
prize
no one
is
has asked us to do it.
$5,000, and the
Show our
winning number
moves or do
of the
any dancing.
3-game pot will be announced
Yeah,
during the third
maybe
period
maybe
on
we'll do something
September
in
the
intermission,
18th.
something wild and crazy.
Fans, you can still purchase great
see,
seats to follow
Sarge
troops
jumping
all
over the
season
carpet,
long
maybe
here
we
at
can,
Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens. Season
figure
tickets
out
can be
something
purchased
wild
at the
and
box
crazy.
office
It's
during
preseason, so we're
tonight's
just
game,
trying to
or
find our
visit
game and
Battalion
our
headquarters
voices, as the
Monday through
case may
Friday
be.
from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m.
Good start for Jack Lisson so far. Another guy who came over from the BCHL, a former pick of the Battalion, came in late in the season and had some pretty solid starts here. Looking very much Corey Crawford-esque with those black pads and black blocker and catcher.
You're right about that. Classic black, and for years the thought was try to make your pads look white so the players think they're seeing the back of the net and fire the puck into those pads. Jack Lisson taking the opposite approach.
I would guess that the black pad thing would be pucks off the pads would be harder for a player to read on trying to get a rebound off a black pad, trying to find a black puck.
The art and science of goaltending by Chris Dawson. Pereira off the glass in behind Nelson. Puck to the far side. Laird gets it back to the line. Loose puck comes to the near side. Kelly trying to get to it. The veteran unable to poke it out. Deach ahead. Hoban drifting into the offensive zone. And puck stolen by Briar Long, gets it out to center ice. Amadovsky, Nathan that is. First player taken in last year's priority selection by the Ottawa 67's. Giveaway by Potsy. Here is a shot blocked in front. It was Jesper Kuta from Finland getting that gift on a stick. An uncharacteristic giveaway by Iggy Potsy. No harm done. North Bay rallying to get in front of that shot. Ryan White back for it, being watched by Wellenreiter. Ekberg, he put it right onto Amadovsky's stick, so a fair share of giveaways early in this period by both teams. Puck comes to the side of the goal.
Battalion trying to establish the cycle game, and they've done a good job so far.
As you said, Chris, this line of Pazzi, Amadovsky, Wellenreiter was very impressive down the stretch and in the playoffs for North Bay. They are the de facto top line for this team this season. Of course, missing from the lineup, Procession and Moses. And on the back end, Kapajaritis and Bronson Ride. So there's a fair bit of firepower watching from the press box here tonight. Amadovsky in behind the goal, puck taken away from him. Up the right side, Kelly tried to get moving. Ishkokigan ahead, long shot, loose puck. Ishkokigan was there, the puck was in his skates.
Yeah, he just didn't see that puck on that rush. Making a nice pinch in there and joining the rush.
There's a shot by Parker Vaughn. It went off a stick over top of the net. A nice setup by Iggy Pazzi.
But again, that home plate is getting protected, and Battalion having a tough time getting those shots away. They're getting to the home plate. They're just not able to get a good clear shot away.
Parker Vaughn with a nice steal, but could not execute the shot. He's hungry for the puck. You can just see that in Parker Vaughn. Here's Vaughn again with a shot. It changed direction in front of Jaden Nelson.
That one got through. That one got through, and that was a great scoring chance. Nice save by Nelson, too, to suck the puck up and not allow a rebound as well.
Most impressed by Parker Vaughn here in the first 10 minutes of this game.
Yeah, he's looked impressive and, he's hungry to, score. And I'm sure Battalion fans are going to be excited to watch what he can do, as well as the guy on his left side, as well as Callie. And I think Warren is a guy to watch, too. So there's three guys out there that Battalion fans should certainly keep their eye on and will get to know very well this season.
All three players, as you said, Chris, first-round picks in the Ontario Hockey League. Of course, Ryder Callie, a first-round pick of the Sioux Greyhounds. Parker Vaughn, a first-round pick of the Barrie Colts. And Cameron Warren, taken last April in the priority selection by the North Bay Battalion. I don't think I've ever been able to say three first-round picks on the same line wearing olive green.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Kent Greer has the puck go by him. It's a long rolling puck, and it's going to be icing as Caleb Deitch gets back to it.
Yeah, everybody trying to feel like you can even tell in the transition game and the passes, just a little bit off. But we should not be surprised at this time of the year. I think the one thing the coaches will really like to see at this time of the year is the compete level. You can get through and get to know your line mates and make those passes more crisp, but if you're not competing in the preseason, there's a problem. And, so far, obviously, there's a rivalry here between these two teams. They have both been competing, and that's fun to watch.
Zach Hubin out there between Spencer Bowes and Caden Kelly. They started this game. Still no score, and we passed the midway point of the first period. Outlet pass. Hubin scrambling after it, gets to the red line and fires it in deep. Listen out to play it, rattles it around the glass, and it comes out into the center ice area.
There's Dubrovtsev. One of the key stats that I noticed in the Owen Sound game was, I believe he was 8 for 12 in the face-off circle and won a face-off already on the power play too. So, obviously, every coach loves to have a centerman who can win face-offs, and that's a good sign for the first-round import pick of the Battalion this summer.
Dubrovtsev to his line mate Pronin from Belarus. Pronin slings a pass through the slot area. Brown, the defenseman, pinching in. He's slated to start the season in Powassan, getting a good look at OHL action here tonight. That puck kicked away by Nelson on a dangerous-looking shot from the point. You like when those defensemen get those soft shots from the point. That one made its way all the way through and gave Nelson something to think about. Kelly at center, one of the veterans on the team. This is a young Ottawa 67's team. A lot of the star power of years gone by has moved on. And even though Brady Stonehouse didn't finish the season with the 67's, I think of the impact that he made with this club and how much of a thorn in the side of the Battalion Stonehouse was for all those years for Ottawa.
And someone named Pinelli, too. He
on
certainly
the power
scored
play,
a lot of
sure.
goals against the Battalion in his time in the OHL.
He was unstoppable. course, the Ottawa power play last year, 20th in the league. The year before that, 10th. And so it's a bit of a work in progress to get special teams back up to where it usually is for Dave Cameron. There's a shot ripped wide by Nolan Laird. Laird gets it back again. Tried to feed Briar Long. And the puck picked up and carried out to center ice. Ekberg jams on the brakes. Sends it softly in deep for Amadovsky. He bounced the puck off the back of the net. Now a battle ensues in the corner. Laird able to bring it out to Briar Long. Laird on the left side. Long throws it into the middle. And that went off the defenseman Harper, who had snuck up on the rush and ended up right in front of the goal. Harper showing his willingness to activate himself into the rush, and that's something North Bay needs this season. There's a pass in front, a chance, and sending it just wide. A good opportunity, perhaps the best opportunity of the game for both teams, by Spencer Bowes, the former Perth Blue Wing.
Yeah, great chance there. And again, Lisson held his ground and made the save and made it look fairly easy. So a nice stop by Jack Lisson.
A stout defense by North Bay thwarts the entry, and the puck sent down the ice. Big collision down low. Amadovsky knocked to the seat of his pants by Morelli.
Veteran Morelli making his presence on that play.
Here's Iggy Potsy on the backhand. He elected to shoot. Amadovsky was not in range for a pass. Took the shot. Nelson made the stop.
6 minutes, a lot of good. I think the biggest thing from the 67's that they have tried to do is they've been able to counter punch on the Battalion. Battalion have been kind of controlling the play, doing a good job, spending a lot of time in the 67 zone. However, the 67's have been very good. Some of their really good opportunities have come on the counter punch on turnovers.
Thomas Vandenberg, the Ottawa Myers U16 product, is waved out of the face-off circle. Puck to the line. Vandenberg trying to force the issue. Comes to Parker Vaughan. In front, Ryder Cali with a shot stop made by Nelson.
Wow, some nifty passing there in the slot and didn't waste any time getting that puck off his stick, and another good save by Nelson. And that puck maybe a whistle was a little bit too early. At least that's what the guys in green are thinking. But a nice save again by Nelson, who's been the busier of these two goaltenders.
Well, some chemistry forming on this line. Cam Warren between Ryder Cali and Parker Vaughan. North Bay's controlling off the draw. Ryder Cali behind the goal. Cali holding on to it, being watched by Whitehead. Johnson now given the responsibility to corral Cali. Did a nice job, and Cali is separated from the puck.
Good job. Now it's the Battalion getting the turnover in the neutral zone, and
Vandenberg had it go off his shin pads. Cali steals. Cameron Warren back to the line. Shot by Brown. Loose puck in front. Stop was made by Nelson, and the rebound lay there tantalizingly, but no one could get to it.
Nice job by Whitehead using the body there to get to that puck and getting it out of their zone to allow the change.
Good crowd here at the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens to watch this second preseason game. First one at home for the North Bay Battalion. Dubratsev forechecking. Puck comes to the line. Hubin overskated it. North Bay regroups. Carter Kunapaski from Pakenham, Ontario, in Eastern Ontario, dumps it into the right wing corner. And now he's going to be pressed into duty against the veteran Caden Kelly. Swept in front. And Spencer Bowes arriving just a second too late.
In some good areas, getting some good opportunities there, just a little bit behind there. That pass was just a little bit in front of him. He had that good chance earlier in the period. Maybe the best one-on-one chance of the period so far for both teams.
Cronin sends it back. Ryder Carey chases back after it. Loose puck in front. Shot, scores! Ekberg creating the steal from behind the net, sending it out in front, and Jesper Kuta from Helsinki opens the scoring, and it's 1-0 Ottawa.
Tough giveaway behind the net, and that's what we talked about, the 67's creating some turnovers, and on that play there, Carey got knocked off the puck and a quick pass into the slot, and he wasted no time putting that over the glove of normal spot would be the blocker side, but the glove side for the southpaw goaltender Jack Lisson, and a really nice shot there by the 67's forward to get them on the board.
That goal at the 15:43 mark of the first period for those keeping score. And North Bay called on the offside with 4:11 to go here in the first period. Ottawa up 1-0, and a goal by Jesper Kuta, assisted by Philip Ekberg.
Ekberg, a Carolina Hurricanes late round draft pick from Sweden, did some good dirty work behind the net there to get that puck out front.
Well, your assessment of the first 15 minutes, to me, North Bay looks like they have a lot of very compelling offensive prospects, and some of the new players like Ryder Cali and Cam Warren looking like they're going to fit in this league at this level and be given a lot of responsibility by Ryan Houlihan.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're going to get more responsibility when the players like Amidovsky and Wellenreiter start going away to NHL camps as well in the next few games coming up here. I believe they're Battalion in Sarnia on Friday.
Hey, just a reminder, folks, Battalion Fan Fest coming up, and that's on Saturday at 12 noon. Come on down to the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens. That is going to be a ton of fun, and you might see some of your favorite players at the Fan Fest get an autograph. Wear your jersey, of course. Skakegan is rocked again, this time by Enright. And Aaron Enright establishing his presence on the back end. I suspect he's going to be a sheriff back there along with Bronson Ride for North Bay.
He's a big hitter on the back end for the Battalion.
Laird at center. Jax Pereira across the line, can't get the shot through, blocked by Skakegan.
Adam Dennis really likes what Jax Pereira brings to the table. Line mate in U16 of Cam Warren, certainly has had a really good camp, and got a chance to see him a little bit at Voodoo's camp this summer too. Real nice family, and really driven, hard-working young lad, wants to make a career out of the game.
Well, crossing the line, Laird got the elbow from Morelli. That was a definite head hit, and I think worthy of a second look by league officials. Laird looks like he scraped himself up off the ice and is okay, but take another
Morelli
look.
has been a physical presence so far, and certainly showed that on that hit there, and we'll see what transpires here. Looks like it's just a 2-minute minor at this point.
Morelli, the former Markham Waxer, in the box. North Bay goes back on the power play. Pazzi up there now taking this draw. He was a key face-off man in the playoffs last season, very reliable for Ryan Houlihan's Battalion. And Nelson covers up. 1 second elapsed on that. They got a shot on goal.
Shot away by Pazzi. A clever play there to try to catch the centerman and the goalie off guard there with a quick shot. And
there's a puck in behind Nelson. He's looking for it, and immediately no goal indicated by the referee, who was right there in position.
It looked like it got behind Nelson and must have either hit a 67's player or hit the crossbar, because it looked like it got behind the goaltender there in the chaos in front of the net.
It's a sinking feeling when you're a goalie and you feel a puck rolling down the back of your jersey.
There you go, see it right there. Jeez. Tough break for the Battalion there, and Nelson certainly isn't going to complain.
Here's Wellenreiter. Tried to thread a pass through traffic, and Kelly gets to it. Johnson and Deitch on the back end. Hubin and Kelly on this penalty kill for the 67s. Here's Wellenreiter left all alone, had to take that hard pass off his skate, circling, looking for a shooting lane.
He's got a great shot.
Back to the
An
line.
interesting look, two right-hand shot forwards. Two right-hand shot forwards on this line.
Harper and Manzo working the point. It's Harper from Tampa, Florida with the puck now, sends it into the corner. Shot ripped wide of the net. Deach racing to it in the corner. Might be able to backhand it out of harm's way. Uses his body to shelter the puck and gave it to his partner, Johnson, who got it down the ice. Jack Johnson, a former Toronto Marlboro, first year in the league, looking pretty comfortable, paired with Caleb Deach, the veteran, for Ottawa. Here's Kent Greer on the left side. Ryder Cali accelerating through the neutral zone, drawing a crowd. Puck comes back to Greer, far side. Enright. Back to Greer. One-timer, and Vaughn getting some good wood and a good look, but Nelson read it perfectly, coming across.
Top line looking good out there for the Battalion with those 3 first-rounders. Nelson's been steady so far. He hasn't had a lot of really tough looks, but he's had a lot of traffic, and he's done a really good job tracking that puck through some of the screens in front, some of them by his own players, but he's done a good job here.
Nelson's a goalie who, though he played on a 9th place team last year in the Eastern Conference, drew the respect of many players in the league because he's a battler and enormously talented. And you're going to see that this year as he is being pushed for that starting job by Federhoff, the backup goaltender who came up from the USA. Last minute of play is announced by Bob Coles, the arena PA announcer. Here's Whitehead spinning away from a check. Bumped off the puck with a good play by Cameron Warren. Warren centering the second line for North Bay tonight. Shots in favor of North Bay, 12-6. And it showed as the ice was definitely tilted in North Bay's favor in that first 20 minutes.
Yeah, 67's capitalizing on a turnover behind the net. 2 of the import players went to work.
This is the architect of that goal, Ekberg, bringing it in, puck in behind the goal. Cronin, outlets. Ryder carry on the left side, has Dubratsev with him. Harper with a shot, and Nelson makes the stop and ensures there's no rebound.
Nice by Harper there, waiting and pausing a little bit, trying to open up a better shooting lane and got that puck through. But again, Nelson has done a really good job with his rebound control, Ranch.
Yep, 13 shots. He's the type of goalie who just gets better the more pucks he faces. North Bay's had some grade A looks. 6 seconds left in the period. Kuta, the goal scorer, off the draw, winning the faceoff, and is Skokagin content to play the puck. And here's the horn to end the first period of play. 1-0 lead for the Ottawa 67. Jesper Kuta getting the goal. North Bay out shooting the Ottawa 67 13-6. And Chris Dawson, we've got some time to fill. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you saw in that first period from both clubs.
Well, I really like the, like I said earlier in the broadcast, I like the compete level. That both teams are competing hard. You want to see that compete level. There are guys trying to earn spots, full-time spots, especially the guys with the cages on. They're trying to make an impression, you know, and you know, so you definitely like to see the compete that we've seen so far. Of course, you're going to see a few passes, you know, going off, you know, into the feet and off the heel of the stick. You're going to see that at this time of the year. It's going to take, you know, both teams getting ready. But, you know, I like what I saw from the Battalion. Some pretty exciting, you know, things with the top 6 even today. Not that we don't have Ethan Procession, but, you know, you go and look at that first line that we knew, and then the top picks line with you know, Warren along with Vaughn and Cali. They look really like they had played together for a long time, and I know they haven't, but you know, I think that's a good sign. And you know, certainly
opportunities. It doesn't matter the preseason or regular season. You got to take advantage of your opportunities. And 67's didn't get a lot of action in on Jack Lisson, who made a couple of good saves, but costly turnover, a battle won by Ekberg behind the net, and he makes the nice pass out front, and the 67's able to cash in, and that's the difference so far.
Jesper Kuda getting that goal. As we look at the players who are not in the lineup today, we talked about Ethan Procession, Shamar Moses. That is over 100 points of offense from last season. Watching the game today, John Kapragiridis, the former Don Mills Flyer, who came over in that trade with Sarnia at the deadline, not in the lineup, nor is Bronson Ride. We talked about the role of Sheriff on the back end. Bronson Ride is that Sheriff for North Bay. But we see other players like Aaron Enright getting comfortable with that physical role here, even though it's exhibition hockey. Enright laying a big hit on Cohen Oshkosh-again. And you want to send messages to your Eastern Conference rivals, that's one way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And Enright, of course, had some injury problems last year and didn't get a full season in, but he's really excited and definitely going to be a big piece. I think probably locked in the top 4 spot right now. So, but it should be a really good season for him and his fellow Ottawa area defender, Kent Greer.
Chris, for those at home who aren't familiar with you, as I might be, maybe you could tell the folks at home, you're wearing multiple hats tonight. You're not just the color analyst here on at OHL Battalion Hockey live streaming on YouTube, but you're doing some other roles right now as we speak.
I got sports editor at Bay Today, and got Scott Walpole covering the game on Bay Today. You'll be able to read that later tonight as he gives us a thumbs up. And of course, the other hat I wear is the general manager of the Powassan Voodoos, and we're the NOJHL affiliate team of the North Bay Battalion.
Do you have any Eastern Ontario products on that Powassan Voodoos team?
Devon Brown.
Yeah, tell us about Devon Brown, because he's a player drafted in last year's priority selection, so he's an 08 birthday, but he looked pretty good in what I saw here in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, and he's able to play for us through another rule. In previous years, any 17-year-old or 16-year-old, you had to do a Hockey Canada appeal to get them to play in the North if they didn't make the OHL team. Well, now they've made some rule changes in Ontario, and now a guy like Devon Brown or a player, a 17-year-old Ottawa 67's pick, is able to go out of his branch and play with an affiliate team of their OHL team instead of maybe going back to their midget team. Of course, for Devon Brown, the benefit of him moving from Ottawa to play here for the Voodoos, they have an opportunity to practice with the battalion, get into some games, and obviously very close for John Winstanley and Adam Dennis to keep an eye on Devon when he's playing games in Powassan and in the NOJHL.
Anytime you have a player like Devon Brown, 6'2", 193 pounds, out of Nepean, and a 2008 birthday, so very young still, and learning the craft, but that's a compelling big man on the back end for the future in North Bay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see a guy who was not a top end pick, but really stood out. I know that there were Ottawa League Junior A teams that were licking their chops at Devon, but Devon decided he wanted to be closer to the battalion, the OHL team that drafted him, and we're excited to have him, as I wear my Voodoos hat, to have Devon be a key contributor on the back end, and be able to get in some OHL games, as many until our season is over. Once the regular season starts, Devon would be able to get into a maximum of 10 games until our season's over, and when our season was over, then Devon can join his team, the battalion, full-time.
North Bay Battalion situating players, it seems, with the Powassan Voodoos, the Halliburton Huskies. Now, what determines whether a player goes to Halliburton or Powassan?
It's more preference. Some younger kids want to be closer to home. If they're a Southern Ontario kid, maybe Halliburton is a better fit for them. Zach Wilson was a player that went down to Halliburton, after being with the battalion, and then came back up last season. He was from Fenelon Falls, so made a lot of sense for him he was literally at home to be able to play. So that made a lot of sense. So it's really more of a preference of the player. You know, we had a guy from the Windsor area in Wraith Smith who had a tremendous year at 2 seasons ago. I know now he's been traded to the Niagara Ice Dogs, but he had a great season, got some power play time, broke a record for most goals as a 16-year-old in Voodoo's franchise history. So, you know, he certainly got an opportunity and made the most of it. But it really is the preference of the player and the family where they want to go. Some of them may want to even go to their hometown. A kid from Cobourg, maybe he'll want to play with the Cobourg Cougars of the OJHL. Maybe another kid from Nepean would maybe want to play in the Ottawa League for the Nepean Raiders. So it's all really a preference and what the family really wants to do, and we try to work with them on that.
As we get ready for the home opener here on September 18th, brought to you by Royal LePage, Oshawa Generals, a team that finished in a logjam. There were 3 teams finished with 88 points last season. Oshawa was one of them. They ended up in the 4 spot because Brantford was in the number 1 spot and Barrie, the Colts, the Central Division champion, in the 2 spot. Oshawa turned out to be a very good team. And it looks like they're going to try to pick up where they left off. And that's going to be a tough challenge for the North Bay Battalion, game 1 of the season, the home opener.
Yeah, Oshawa has always been a great rival of the Battalion. Obviously, a couple of trips in the Eastern Conference Final, coming back the one year, that incredible, almost reverse sweep by the Battalion, forcing a Game 7 when they were down 3-0 in 2 seasons ago. Yeah, it should be exciting to see. Obviously, every year there's turnover, and a guy like Richie, I don't see him probably being in this league. And one of the big challenges with the NCAA too is you don't know which kids are going to end up going early at 19, not to go to the American Hockey League, but to go to their NCAA school too.
I pick up my fruits and vegetables at orchards, and oftentimes I run into Ken Appleby's mom, and we talk about where Ken is, and he's never been closer to home than he is now, Chris. And Ken Appleby, of course, a big alumni of the Oshawa Generals, but a local product from North Bay, and it's good to see him moving closer to home in the American Hockey League.
Yeah, playing with the Marlies, and certainly a great story behind him coming in and becoming a number 1 goalie in the Ontario Hockey League. Didn't get drafted, ended up winning a Memorial Cup, beating his hometown team here in an amazing, I know probably some of the most crazy sort of atmosphere that we've seen in Battalion history. That series that back-to-back years, right? It was Oshawa back-to-back years, and the second time around in 2015 it was Appleby's turn to come up victorious. But what a crazy story for him to win a Memorial Cup and beat teams with guys like Leon Draisaitl in there, and so a real amazing story. And of course, he's shown a lot of perseverance, going almost 6 years without playing an NHL game, and got into a game in 2024. Played in the Carolina in Charlotte last year. So yeah, he certainly has spent a lot of time and traveled a lot and had an amazing career. And I think a lot of guys hope that someone gives him a chance. He's got the size. Is it going to be Toronto? But I know a lot of Leafs fans from the North Bay area hope so.
Looking at the North Bay lineup as it sits right here tonight, and maybe we'll take a second and go through it for the folks at home. This top line, and you can give me your thoughts on the chemistry. It's a resumption of chemistry, picking up where they left off with Pazzi centering a line between Amadovsky and Wellenreiter.
Yeah, lots of speed. Obviously going to be very good on the transition game, but you also noticed they were very good cycling the puck down low. And, obviously the one thing that's missing, it's all about speed with those 3. So, they probably can get, big physical defender, protecting the house. Those guys aren't going to, fight their way through checks. They're going to have to use quick passes, quick releases, and turnovers to try to score, but certainly an exciting line. I think you'll probably see a lot more goals on the transition game from them than you will get in the cycle game, but still an exciting trio for sure to watch. And I know Iggy wants to bounce back after a tough, horrible game in Erie where we talked off camera where both him and Romani both had big major injuries in the same game, and so Iggy's going to really want to bounce back and have a great season with those two line mates.
The next line, the second line, has a couple of NHL draft eligible players who might get a lot of attention. Cam Warren, of course, he's a first-year OHLer, but he's centering a couple of thoroughbreds in Parker Vaughn on his right and Ryder Cali on his left, both 08 birthdays, both NHL draft eligible.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're looking at three guys that are going to be NHL picks coming out of the Battalion program. And Cali, a Harvard commit already. He has shown some really impressive flashes, even as an affiliate player coming up from the OJHL last season. So, and you're already starting to see the chemistry, especially between Ryder and Parker, making a couple of those quick passes and quick releases, looking a little bit like McDavid and Draisaitl, making those quick passes and that quick release. And so it should be exciting. And of course, Cam Warren, it's going to take him some time to get his feet wet. This is not, we don't want to fool anybody and say this is mid-season OHL hockey. It's not. So, there's going to be some growing pains for Cam, but certainly the upside is huge for him.
And certainly physical conditioning is very important to Cam Warren. He trained Gary Roberts style in the GTA, and so it's really good when you see a player who takes his conditioning, his preparation that seriously.
Yeah, absolutely committed. Wants to be, a successful hockey player. Had a great OHL Cup as well, and he's got his line mate here in Jax Pereira too. And I know that there was a story about Carter Kunapaski where the two of them, I think, had a physical collision during the tournament too, and now they're teammates, which is always the interesting thing about how hockey comes full circle sometimes.
Third line, Ryder Carey, he's going to have to brush up on his Russian because tonight his line mates, he's a right winger. His centerman is Evgeny Dubratsev from St. Petersburg, Russia, and Arseny Pronin from Minsk. I always think about the movie in Seinfeld, but anyway, Arseny Pronin. It takes a while for the European players to adapt to the North American rink and the North American style of play, even though hockey is becoming kind of global in that way in the systems and whatnot, but it's a smaller rink.
Yeah, Dubravtsev, obviously, he's been doing really well in the face-off circle. You saw him have a net drive and kind of get knocked off the puck there, so he definitely has the adjustment as well. Both of them, I don't think are really fluent in English like a lot of the players that come from, obviously Inat Pazzi played a lot of his minor hockey in the U.S. before he was drafted by the Battalion, so that never was an issue for the Ukrainian product. But these two guys are learning to adapt to a complete new lifestyle too, aside from learning to play with Ryder Carey, who I think is a guy, I don't think we can expect the offense that you'll see out of the first rounders, Vaughn, Cali, and maybe Cam Warren, but I think Carey can be more of a first rounder like Liam Arnsby type. I know he's not a centerman, he's playing the wing, but I think he can play more of a physical grind style and win battles. I know he was on the wrong end of a battle on that goal in the first period, but I think I like his physicality and I like the compete level that he tries to bring to the game every night.
He's an OHL Cup winner with the Oakville Rangers. Fourth line as the intermission is 2 minutes away from ending. Jax Pereira, the former Toronto Junior Canadian, centering the veterans Briar Long and Nolan Laird.
Yeah, Nolan Laird, lunch bucket hockey, a hard-working guy, can play anywhere in the lineup. He's a coach's dream. I know he'll do anything for the team. A great team guy. They haven't thrown letters out, but I would think that he would be on the short list as a guy who may get a letter this season. And then you look at Jax Pereira, a rookie, played with Warren, and has shown some offensive zip. He's got great speed. And Briar Long, a guy who's trying to find his feet. Had an amazing year 2 seasons ago in the GOJHL, was one of the top rookies, and still trying to find his feet in the OHL, but just has a tremendous release. And of course, his family's very well known. His brother Caden, a Battalion draft pick, and his brother Cove as well is expected to be a draft pick this summer, playing down in the GTHL. But yeah, it's interesting. All these guys are fighting for positions. That's the one thing that we know right now.
Well, I really got my money's worth from Chris Dawson in the first intermission, 45 seconds before puck drop. And we'll go through the defense and the goaltenders in the second intermission as we introduce our fans watching us on at OHL Battalion YouTube, live streaming for I think the first time ever. Chris, we're part of history here, live streaming on YouTube.
Yeah, it's kind of neat, isn't it?
It's the way of the future, perhaps. All right, so let us get you up to speed. 1-0 lead for the 67's as the Battalion players smacking their sticks on the boards to juice up the top line. Iggy Potsy between Amadovsky and Wellenreiter. Whitehead out there with Vandenberg and Shankingwell. Vandenberg will take the draw for Ottawa. Harper on the right side. Wellenreiter is bumped by Deach, and Kingwell tried to get going. And now a whistle on the play. A penalty coming up. Let's see who it's to. Looks like Harper's getting a minor for tripping 10 seconds into the second period. So you're going to see some North Bay Battalion special teams in terms of the PK, Chris.
Want to wish a good luck to the North Bay U16 Trappers, who are going to Nashville to compete in the Music City Showcase on September 12th and 14th. Coach Jeff Mancini, and a guy a lot of Battalion fans know, the former assistant GM here. Matt Rabideau is the manager and does a great job with that age group, along with Coach Jeff Mancini. So wish them a lot of luck down south of the border in Nashville.
Amadovsky into the slot, far side. Here's White. Amadovsky looks, sets, fire, stop made by Jack Lisson, and the puck in his blocker after he made that stop off of Nathan Amadovsky.
It's funny, the brother, Nathan, a left-hand shot, Liram a right-hand shot, but definitely a great release, just like his older brother.
Nick Whitehead will take the draw, and puck swatted down the ice. An alert play by Kent Greer to pounce on that loose puck off the draw. Ryan White ahead, Whitehead at center, leading the rush. Amadovsky, puck was in his skates, and Kent Greer swatted it out to the center ice area. On the far side, Morelli drop pass, and drifting in with the puck and taking it in behind the net. And then sent down the ice. So North Bay's penalty killers looking like they're in mid-season form. Of course, they had the 6th best penalty kill in the OHL during last season's regular season. Very lofty indeed. Amadovsky, rink-wide pass to Ekberg. Chitteroni out there now getting some power play time. Of course, he's the brother of Hudson Chitteroni of the Sudbury Wolves. And Amadovsky keeps it on side, sends it into the corner for Chitteroni to go after. Greer got to it first. Chitteroni gets it back to the point. Puck slung to the near side, but beyond the reach of Vandenberg. And Kuda had it go by him and down the ice, and North Bay gets a change in with about a dozen seconds left in the penalty to Brant Harper. An aggressive penalty kill so far by the Battalion, wouldn't you say, Chris?
It is so far, definitely.
Ekberg cuts it off on the far side, gets it back again, and here is Chitteroni, backhand towards the net and a hop by the intended target. That was Jasper Kuda parked in front of the net. Laird pile drives his man into the ice. He's going to get a penalty for his efforts. Nelson to the bench in favor of the extra attacker. And as Brown touches the puck, a whistle goes, and it's a hooking call coming up to the veteran Nolan Laird.
Yeah, and a good start so far for the Ottawa 67's. They'll get their second straight power play here to start the period. And certainly one of the new things too is the extra import has come into play. 3 players per team now, and a couple of them have made an impact so far for the 67's on the first goal.
The new rule of extra importance.
Very nice.
Ottawa organizing in their own end and starting out. Amadovsky on the far side. Morelli, the defenseman, brings it in. Kept in at the line by White. One-timer by Whitehead, and it's blockered away by Jack Lisson.
Good tracking there by Jack Lisson to read that one-timer and make that blocker save.
Morelli got underneath that one, sent it over top of the net. White sent it back. Morelli was handcuffed by the pass, and it ends up back in the 67's zone. Ottawa getting fresh power play skaters on the ice. Chitteroni back out there. Ekberg as well. Whitehead, here's Vandenberg trying to get by Harper. Harper got good positioning on him and steered him out. That was Pronin looking for the steal on the PK. You got to be careful. Pronin has eyes for intercepting. Ishkakagan sends it to the net, and a good stick by Kent Greer swatting the puck over the glass and out of play.
Good job by the Battalion protecting the middle of the ice here on that power play. Really good save. And one of the newer things you're seeing goaltenders do is using the blocker to punch the pucks out of the slot. Maybe something you didn't see very often 4 or 5 years ago, but goaltenders are being encouraged now to use that blocker and push the pucks out of the scoring areas.
There's a stop by Jack Lisson on a hard shot by Vandenberg. And you hear the cowbells ringing in appreciation of that save by Gentleman Jack. 20 seconds left in the 67's power play, their second consecutive power play in this period. They've generated 3 shots so far in this frame. Centering pass, and Ishkakagan forced to retreat to his own red line. Vandenberg across the line, and he's hit hard by Amadovsky. Here's a chance in front. Lisson with a great save. A shot off the post behind a fallen Jack Lisson. Vandenberg set up in front. Rising shot, missed the net. Pressure now by the 67 intensifies. Enright calmly gloves the puck, sends it off the glass and out to center ice.
Another really good save by Jack Lisson, who's been on the ball with that blocker. Great tracking on those pucks coming through and able to get back and recover and able to be ready for the next shot. Great job on the PK. Goaltender's usually the #1 penalty killer, and Jack Lisson came up with some big stops there to keep this a 1-goal game.
Yeah, he battled for the puck, tracked the puck well, showed good movement, and never gave up on a play, and that is why the score is still 1-0, 5 minutes and 14 seconds into the second period.
When he was battling back to that far post, it almost looked like he was going to fall back and knock the net off, but he was able to recover and actually, get back against his post without knocking the net off.
Puck kept in at the line, Ryder, Callie, and Vaughn flips a puck wide of the net. North Bay trying to reestablish presence in the offensive zone after killing off 2 successive penalties. They go to work here early in the second. Puck comes out to center ice, and Bowes is hit by Vaughn as he tried to get back to the 67's bench. Here's Warren, first player taken by North Bay in last spring's priority selection. Number 6 overall.
Oh,
nice
what a pass.
And stop made by Nelson, and then he's hit by Vaughn.
What a lot of poise on that play by Warren. You look at his head. His head was on a swivel. He was looking around where his players were and able to do that fancy little back pass. He knew where Callie was on that far side, and a nice save there again by Nelson. But some pretty good poise for a young lad like that in his first game at the Gardens.
Parker Vaughn is being escorted to the penalty box for his collision with Jaden Nelson, and it appears like he's the only person to get penalties after that dust up following his contact with the Ottawa goaltender.
The penalty parade it looks like there's going to be he's going to have a friend in the penalty box this time.
Yeah, even
Ryan White,
the former Pittsburgh Penguin U15 product. 4 minutes on the board for Parker Vaughn, and we'll see what White gets. Maybe just 2. It's 4-on-4 for the moment. It's our first look at 4-on-4 hockey this season. Quick shot off the draw.
Nice play. There's that quick release I told you about Briar Long.
Harper near point. Lots of open ice out there. Briar Long with a shot. Right pad save by Nelson. Puck comes to the line. Long had it knocked off his stick, and the puck sent out to center ice as Ottawa eager for relief. Pereira sends it to an open wing. Ishkok he's bumped. Now Ottawa, Ekberg. Here's Morelli, set up nicely by Ekberg, but the puck wouldn't settle down. Pereira, speeding his way to center, is met with a hard hit by Ekberg. Pereira back up on his skates. Ekberg circling, leaves it. Here's another import defenseman, Rummel, centering pass. He's from the Czech Republic, wearing number 13, as the European players often do. Ekberg knocked off his skate by Carter Kunapaski. A small sampling of what Carter Kunapaski intends to bring to this team is a physical presence on the blue line.
Yeah, he does not mind getting his nose dirty one bit.
Here's Ryder Carey, wearing number 11. He's got the puck now. Dips his shoulder, goes to the net, sent the puck just wide.
Good net drive there by Carey.
North Bay continues to pressure. Laird out there with Carey. And Whitehead had it go off his stick. Penalized players are both back on the ice. It was not, in fact, 4 minutes for Vaughn. It was just 2. The teams are back at full strength, and Enright bringing it in.
Smooth skater, isn't he, Ranch?
They make them tough in Cobden, Ontario, where Enright is from. Ottawa escapes the zone. 4 of them across center, across the line, and a good defensive play by Greer. Wellenreiter, a lead pass, and he missed the intended target, Arsemi Pronin, who would have been in behind the Ottawa defense. Shots in favor of North Bay 16-10, and North Bay dodging a bullet with those early penalties in this period, Chris.
Yeah, they did, and then, like I said, their number 1 penalty killer, Jack Lisson, didn't have a lot of work in that first period, but had made some key saves here to keep this game 1-0 for the 67's.
50-50 raffle is up to $5,000 here. A modest purse here for a Wednesday night game in the preseason in early September. Battalion Fan Fest coming up Saturday. Are you going to be at the Fan Fest, Chris?
You know, I might try to make an appearance. Got a Voodoo's game that night in Powassan, so it's a busy day. But yeah, it should be exciting, and a great job by Adam Dennis and the organization to try to do a better job of connecting with the community, and that's such an important thing for any junior hockey team. And the Battalion organization does a great job of it. Did hockey cards. They didn't have a broadcast card for you, Ranj, but did hockey cards, which was a great way to promote the team last year, and a lot of other fun activities they did with the play with the kids, and great role models, these battalion players for the young male and female hockey players in the city.
Chitteroni with a nice set of mitts there, made a nice move to get around the battalion defender, got a good shot away. And there are high expectations for Brock Chitteroni, taken 3rd overall in this spring's priority selection by the 67's, and he showed you what he can do on that rush. Listen with a good stop. Comes back to the line. That shot changed directions, went wide of the net. Chitteroni spun off his skates. 3 battalion players through center. Pronin, puck taken away from him by Nathan Amadovsky. Krawchuk steered out of the play by Devin Brown. And here is Dubratsev, stick handling across the line and then knocked off his skates. Krawchuk back the other way, has Amadovsky with him. Backhand shot, and listen with the stop. Square to the shooter, making himself look as big as possible.
Good job by Carey getting back and causing maybe a little bit of disruption on that shot. And Listen with a good job there, containing the rebound. So Dubravtsev and Pronin, 2 guys, when John Winstanley talked to the media, said they were guys that are going to play a hard version of hockey. So I don't know if the battalion fans will expect them to put up, gaudy offensive numbers, but they're going to be players that are going to be hard to play against, and certainly that's something that the battalion have been trying to do over the years. Obviously they have some great talent, but they also want to supplement that with guys that, work hard, like guys like the, Nolan Laird, for instance, and Wright.
Puck sent rink wide. Nelson kicks it away, comes to the near point. Harper trying to get away from Bose. Harper with a shot, and that one missed the net. A deflection. Pazzi drifts one towards the goal. Caleb Deitch takes over, lifts a high one to center ice. Kunaphaski had it go by him. Spencer Bose takes the shot. Rebound to the side of the net. They score. The puck elevated after the initial stop by Jack Lisson, and it was swatted in. And Kelly gets his first of the preseason.
Yeah, Caden Kelly, Johnny on the spot there on that opportunity by Bose. And he's not a big guy, but Bose has been around the puck an awful lot so far in this game and had a couple of really good chances. And on this one, he gets the shot away, and his line mate goes and cashes in and puts home the rebound.
Spencer Bose out of Cartland Place, Ontario, has been a factor in this game. And Caden Kelly, who had 10 goals last season, the former Mississauga Senator, has expanded Ottawa's lead to 2.
Well, the battalion were down by 2 in the second period against the Owen Sound Attack. Do they have another comeback in their second preseason game?
Cameron Warren trying to get around Ishkok again. Goes back to Greer at the point. Loose puck battle won by the battalion. Ryder Cali in the corner. And he stripped Morelli of the puck. Intense battle for that disc, and finally Ishkok again skates it out, as he often does. A smooth skating defenseman dismantling what was a dangerous situation with that ability to get out of his own zone. Morelli back for it. He takes a hard hit from Parker Vaughn, comes to Greer at the near point. Laird leaves it for Greer, drifting in, takes the shot, and that one off the face mask of Jaden Nelson. Here behind the goal, an attempt by Briar Long was high stick, and a penalty coming up to Ottawa. Greer's shot off a stick. Briar Long shielding the puck from the defender, spins off a check. Good stick work by Briar Long, comes back to Carey. Long shot blocked in front. Puck sent far side. Long thought about letting the shot go, goes back to Manzo. Carey, extra skater out there for the battalion on this delayed penalty, and Long was set up in front. Tried the one-timer and failed to negotiate contact with a beautiful pass from the corner.
That good puck possession there by the battalion is trying to put pucks to the net. And that's what they got to do, pucks to the net. and good things will happen. And a couple of good chances there. A blast by Kent Greer goes off of the mind of Jaden Nelson there. But a couple really good chances. Briar Long with a good chance. Couple of good chances on that shift. But Dave Cameron's got to be very happy with the way his team has still been able to protect the house. Not a lot of really good scoring chances getting in on Nelson.
Harper looking for Elaine, left the puck behind but recovered nicely. Manzo far side, shot in front, in traffic, bouncing puck, and swept into the netminder by Zach Hubin. And you got to be careful when you slide that puck back to your goalie, Chris, and Nelson had the paddle down Felix Potvin style to make sure it didn't slip through the wickets.
Yeah, very nice stop again. He's done a really good job of controlling the rebounds around the house, aside from the one that went off his head, which is very hard to control the rebound off your head. But he's done a great job so far, and his defense has done a good job of giving him room to get to those loose pucks.
Dubratsev to take the face-off for North Bay between Carey and Pronin. Carey to Adrian Manzo near point. Harper looks to be the quarterback of this power play unit. Pronin.
I love how he can slide to the middle, Ranch.
He's
trying
confident.
to find and open up lanes.
Manzo, Harper. Crowd wants a shot. It comes back to Harper. They've tightened up the attack, and a good stick by Spencer Bowes knocked it off of Harper's
He's doing everything today.
He wants a spot on this team. He was a Team CCHL Robinson Young Gun last year, which is an all-star nod. He's playing like an all-star here in this preseason game. Listen leaves it for Manzo. North Bay wants to get fresh skaters on the ice. Dubratsev heading off. Manzo starting out. He'll want to get off as well. He fired it in, and Manzo looking skyward. He realized he didn't make the red line when he dumped that one in, and it's going to cost his team 200 feet.
46 seconds left in the power play as Amadowski, brother of Liram there.
46 seconds left in the penalty to Amadowski, Chris, you're right, and Vandenberg to take this draw in the offensive zone against Iggy Potsy. And off the draw, off the glass to the blue line and out to center. Manzo to Harper. Wellenreiter up the middle using that speed to gain the zone. Wellenreiter curling back to Iggy Potsy. Potsy to Enright. His long shot, rebound, scores! It was Liram Amadowski shoveling it in, and a shot from the point by Enright.
You get pucks to the net, good things happen, Ranch, and that's exactly what they needed. They needed to get to one of those rebounds, and that time Nelson wasn't able to contain that rebound on that heavy shot. As a real nice shot, quick release by Enright, and Johnny on the spot. Wasn't a pretty Liram Amadowski top shelf goal, but he'll take the one at the side of the net there to put the Battalion on the board.
It is my belief that Liram Amadowski is going to get 80% of his goals from that distance. There's another chance. They score! Wow! This game is tied, and it's Wellenreiter this time.
We were talking about Wellenreiter and Amadowski as being players that are definitely going to be part of the offense for the Battalion here in a very short period of time. They've shown, yes, we are going to be a big part of the offense this season.
Well, they've taken this team and put it on their back and carried them back to level here with 6:21 to go in the second period. And they had a big second period. They had a big second period in Owen Sound, and they're having a big one here at home.
They are. Good job by two guys that aren't overly big like an Ethan Procession, but got into the dirty areas to get to those two loose pucks.
And now Ottawa trying to respond in Dave Cameron-like fashion. They're not going to hang their heads after giving up two quick ones. Ottawa in the offensive zone trying to seize back momentum. Centering pass didn't work. Callie, puck knocked off his stick. Wellenreiter scoring, hit the assist goes to Iggy Potsy. So that top line cashing in here in the second in a big way. Bouncing puck at the Battalion blue line, and Morelli sending it back to Ishkakagan. Puck off of the stick of Spencer Bowes, and he goes in after it. Laird shielding the puck. Manzo lifting it on the right side to Greer.
Well, Coach Houlihan's just got to be very pleased with the bounce back. Like you said, they had that big second period in Owen Sound too, but getting two quick goals after, being stymied by Jaden Nelson for the majority of this game.
North Bay buzzing now. Here's Hubin across the line, looking for someone to dish. Ishkakagan's long shot along the ice. That was a difficult one to track for Jack Lisson. And he heard it go off the end boards behind him, breathing a sigh of relief.
Oh, Manzo. Oh, dangerous pass in the slot.
Kingwell ended up losing the handle. Laird swiping at the puck. And the pass in behind Briar Long. He retrieves it off the wall. Good hand-eye coordination by Briar Long. He's out there. North Bay on the attack. Good pass interception by Frankie Morelli to take the pressure off. And they get the puck down the ice, but it's going to be icing with 3:47 to go in a tie game here in North Bay.
So would you call that Manzo pass a pass in the trolley tracks to Pereira there?
Yeah, good thing Scott Stevens wasn't on the ice.
Absolutely. A good recovery by the Battalion, to get it out of their zone and not make that a costly giveaway.
We talked about who's not in the lineup for the North Bay Battalion, but Cooper Foster, Jack Dever, and Nolan Jackson not in the lineup for Dave Cameron's Ottawa 67, so they're missing some firepower of their own.
As well, watching from Sault Ste. Marie, say hello to the Gallivan family. Declan Gallivan from Sault Ste. Marie. Battalion pick has had some health challenges, and we wish him well and say hello to his family watching. And of course, Jamie Henderson of the Ottawa 67's coached him with the Thunderbirds as well, and he had a great rookie season that year. And I wish Declan can't wait to see him back on the ice at Battalion camp.
Puck sent around on the wall and out to center ice. Krawczyk was hit, got the puck down the ice. Ryder Carey will start out slowly at first. His pass deflected, and Amadovsky and his line mate Ekberg were slightly offside.
So that's got to be a challenge for Ryder Carey. Two brand new line mates who are not only learning how to play with him, but also learning how to, communicate as learning English while making the adjustment to come over to North America.
Would you say, Chris, that there is a universal language once you're on the ice?
I think that's pretty much it. The language of hockey.
The beaver tail, slapping the stick on the ice, and you maybe come up with some code words, some language, just to let your line mates know where you are. Harper under duress, pass out in front. Ekberg just missed it. He was in the slot area. Carry to center ice off the stick of Pronin.
I know it is very early, but Harper is showing some really good signs. I think Battalion fans are going to be excited to watch him on the back end with the troops this season. So a great pickup there, as you know, in this new world, to be able to find a player that played high caliber hockey in the U.S. that was an NCAA commit, and you can bring him into your program from Tampa, Florida.
He's out of the Des Moines Buccaneers. That's in Iowa, if I'm not mistaken. And came up through the Shattuck St. Mary's program. Of course, that's the same program that Brady Lyle came through.
It is. Some other good hockey players named Taves and Crosby, I think, too.
Now here's a threatening rush by the Battalion that failed to materialize. Back the other way, Kingwell thought about dropping it to Vandenberg, elected to shoot. Amidowski far side, tried to chip it over Johnson, but the defenseman, Jack Johnson from Stouffville, looking rather impressive here in this preseason game, wearing number 20.
They've got the Ottawa Valley duo out there for the Battalion with Enright and Greer both out there together.
It's not often you see a defenseman wearing number 20, but I do know of one by the name of Greg Thaberge with the Washington Capitals. Happy birthday, Greg.
Happy birthday, Greg.
Here's Wellenreiter drifting in. Now cutting in front, going backhand, and it rode up the shoulder of Jaden Nelson. Ended up in the corner, and the puck lifted to center. Approaching the final minute now of the second period. Iggy Potsy across the line with a dangerous shot using Caleb Deach as a screen. Final minute here. Vaughn looking, centering pass, and a stop made by Nelson.
What a save by Nelson.
That play was a long time coming, but Parker Vaughn knew exactly what he wanted to do and got a good tape-to-tape pass to create that opportunity.
Seeing some good chemistry between this line, and certainly Callie and Vaughn, and we mentioned that earlier in the broadcast too.
And that stop calmly made by Jack Lisson with 26 seconds left, and now a bit of a scrum developing in behind Jack Lisson. And a reminder of the Battalion Fan Fest this Saturday starts 12 noon. It'll be lots of fun, and you'll find all your favorite Battalion players. And Sarge will be there, and I'm sure there'll be lots to do. And for the young kids, young fans and old fans alike, this Saturday here at the Gardens, the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens, starting at 12 noon. 26.2 on the clock. It's 2-2. Kelly forced to the outside. He's trying to generate some offense. Of course, he has the second Ottawa goal. Morelli fires. Puck dipped sharply, but never made it. Getting in front of that shot.
Absolutely.
Make sure it doesn't get to Jack Lisson. And the final seconds drain off the clock, and the horn goes, and the second period. And these two teams do not like each other, Chris, and that's probably boiling over from a very long season last year.
So that looks like, is that Morelli and Manzo?
Manzo and Morelli tangled up. They're jawing at each other, and the linesman trying to separate them.
And then Bose and Devon Brown, they probably know each other from the Ottawa Valley area too.
17 minutes, second intermission, and we're glad to have you folks watching us on our first YouTube live streaming Battalion game. It's a preseason game, but it feels like a mid-season game, if I'm not mistaken, Chris.
Yeah, like I said, the compete level is very high for a preseason game, but you knew that these two teams didn't like each other from last year, had a great battle down the stretch to try to find that last playoff spot, which the Battalion ended up securing. So, and a lot to prove for both these teams. You know, the inner battles for positions on both teams is a big part of this too. So,
well, North Bay doing a good job to erase a 2-goal deficit, and put in two very quick goals of their own. Of course, that was Liam Amadovsky first and then Nick Wellenreiter.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Ryan Houlihan will love the bounce back from his team, falling behind 2-0, weren't generating a lot of offense, and then all of a sudden, bang, a bang play, and we said it. You know, they got the opportunity with Enright taking that shot from the point, getting it through the traffic, and then there was Amadovsky, Johnny on the spot, getting the rebound, and that was one thing that they were really having a tough time doing in front of that Ottawa net, is getting those pucks through traffic, and weren't able to get to those rebounds, but they certainly did. Once they broke that seal, it was Nick Wellenreiter, Johnny on the spot right after, maybe taking a little bit of a backdoor pass where it looked like the forward was going to take the puck around the net, and Wellenreiter was able to jam that home on the short side. So yeah, definitely a great counterattack by the Battalion.
Well, we don't normally get to talk about the entertainment in between the periods, but we've got a couple of youngsters out there going to try to slide the puck in the slot. And that's always something that the fans really enjoy here. You hear the big crowd cheering their attempts.
Sard's throwing, I believe, T-shirts into the crowd, so.
Yeah, that's always popular. He's got to work on his arm strength, because in all the years we've been up here in the broadcast booth, I've never had a T-shirt make it up here.
No way. I think they had a T-shirt cannon that they actually took out of commission because it was too powerful, I think, at one point. So maybe that's kind of trying to find that happy medium.
When well, we can carry on our conversation from the first period. We were talking about the forwards. And let's talk about the defense now for the North Bay Battalion. The pairing is Carter Kunapaski and Brant Harper. Your thoughts of those two so far after 40 minutes?
Well, like I said earlier, I think Harper is a guy, the D1 commit, played in the U.S. last season, and you know, I think he's a guy that Battalion fans are going to really like. He is very agile, sees the ice really well, skates really well, slides to the middle, looks like he's going to be a power play guy, whether he's on PP1 or PP2, but certainly some good early signs that he's going to be someone to watch for, you know, this year. And then, you know, you look at a guy like...
Before we move on, Carter Kunapaski really in his first real game, let's call it. It's a preseason game, but it's in front of a good crowd here against not friendly opposition here at the Gardens. 16-year-old player in a junior hockey game, in that situation, what do you think is going through his mind as he's out there in this situation?
From my knowledge about Carter Kunapaski, he doesn't care who's out there. He doesn't care how old they are. In the Owen Sound game, when Jax Pereira got hit by someone very familiar to Battalion fans, Jacob Terry, and I know Jacob is not the biggest player, but Carter Kunapaski is only a 16-year-old. He had no problem, no hesitation to go stick up for his teammate against the 19-year-old Jacob Terrian, who he doesn't care if a guy's 260 pounds or if he's 160. He's going to, you know, go after him, a little pit bull himself too. So, you know, I think that kind of is an indication of the type of player. You know, he's very physical. He doesn't back down from anyone, and I think he comes in with a lot of confidence. And I think you saw a little bit of it, you know, here. Again, he's going to have to learn. There's always going to be growing pains, but I think he's going to be exciting defenseman to watch on the back end. A lot of people saying that he was a guy that, you know, people were talking about might have been a first-round pick, you know, so.
I know that the Battalion were thrilled to find Carter Kunapaski in the second round in the 29 spot. There was no hesitation that was going to be their guy. And the discussion in the room this past summer was they wanted Carter Kunapaski specifically for those games, those 8 games against the Sudbury Wolves, and you know what those are like.
Oh, absolutely. It's a well, dogfight. I shouldn't say that, but anyways, it is. You know how much of a battle it is between those two teams. But yeah, he is a gritty defenseman, and certainly a franchise type defender. And I mean, Adam and John Winstanley were just thrilled to be able to get a guy like Kunapaski in the second round after getting another star. And we saw him at little glimpses. I know we're going back to the forwards again, talking about Cameron Warren, but that one poised play that he made coming across the blue line with the puck, head on a swivel, looking around, and then able to make that backdoor pass across through the slot right on the stick of Cali, and Nelson made a good save. I think those two players are going to be cornerstones for this organization and big 2009 draft pick players.
When a 16-year-old comes into the OHL, defenseman is an art that takes a few years to learn, and there can be some mistakes that you would expect from a 16-year-old. What is really different from playing with the Ottawa Valley Titans at that level and succeeding at that level? What is Carter facing as he steps onto OHL ice?
Well, obviously time and space, right? He's playing against bigger, stronger, older players. Those are probably the two big ones. The game's going to be so much faster, and he knows he just can't make a mistake. It's a OHL hockey. It's a business now. You're not in minor hockey anymore. So the pressure's on him to perform when he's on the ice, even though he is a 16-year-old. There's going to be expectations, and obviously high expectations with a second round pick.
Let's talk about the next pairing, and they need no introduction. They were paired basically from preseason a year ago when they were rookies in this league, Aaron Enright and Kent Greer.
Yeah, the Ottawa Valley duo.
Yes.
For sure. You saw what Aaron Enright can do. He's a very smooth skater. He's a big body, moves well for a guy, with the stature that he has. He's strong on the puck. He's calm with the puck too. You see how calm he is, even on getting that shot through traffic. He held on, waited for that lane to open, and then got that puck through, which ended up being the assist on the opening goal for the Battalion in the second period. So size, strength, he's going to make life miserable, probably more so than any other defenseman. Him and Bronson Wright are going to make life miserable for opponents in front of Mike McIver, Jack Lisson, or Charlie Larocque, whichever one is in goal that one night. So, but yeah, I think he's a very good all-around defenseman. I'm excited to see him, have a full season after having some injury problems last year.
Kent Greer shows such poise as a 16-year-old, and that's something that Carter Kunapaski can look at and probably find a lot of mentorship with a guy like Kent Greer, who came into let's face it, the team last year, it was not as good as this team this year. And so for everybody, Kent Greer was in a very difficult learning environment with a team that was under attack, especially in the first half of that season on most nights. But Greer showed tremendous poise, and he's carrying that over here as really a leader on the back end for the Battalion. Hard to say when he's a 2008 birthday to call him a leader on the back end.
Yeah, I mean, he, again, another top-round draft pick from the Battalion 2 years ago. I know that there's been discussion, like we said, about him being compared from his offensive game to a guy named Ty Nelson, which is pretty big shoes to fill. But you know what, I just like the way he plays. He's patient with the puck as well. He really does complement the big, nasty defenseman in Aaron Enright. Like, it's a really nice, they really complement each other, quite well. So, I think it'll be a big year for him. I see a guy like Harper, it'll be interesting to see, is he going to be a quarterback on power play 1 or power play 2? You see what Brant Harper's doing. Maybe he's going to be the guy doing it on PP1, but I still think big things are in store for Kent Greer.
The third pairing tonight, Devon Brown, we might not see a lot of. He's slated to be in Powassan, your defenseman, but perhaps you could talk a bit about what his role is expected to be in Powassan. He's still a very young 17-year-old defenseman.
Yeah, I know. Peter Goulet, our experienced head coach, is from the Kingston area, and we have one of our top scouts, Billy Griffiths, from the Ottawa area too, has kept a lot of eye on Devin Brown. He was even a guy we were thinking, potentially could have come to the Voodoos, but because of those ruling with him being a 16-year-old from Ottawa, it would have been a very complicated process to get him to come and play for the Voodoos as a 16-year-old last year. But he definitely was someone that was on the radar, and we had talked to his family. Primarily Peter and Billy, knowing him from the Ottawa area, and he had shown some interest back in the spring. Didn't get to come to the orientation camp because of an injury, but early in the summer, discussions with Adam and John, and was that this would be a really good spot for him, and I think he's a guy that should fill a top 4 role for us in Powassan, and hopefully get an opportunity to learn a little bit too by practicing with the battalion and getting into some games too.
His pairing partner is Adrian Manzo, who put up 3 assists in the 4-3 win over Owen Sound a few days ago, and I did some quick math, so he's on pace for a 180-point season.
Zane Perek, eat your heart out.
Exactly. But Manzo, he had an unfortunate pass up the middle that put his teammate at some risk for personal injury, but looked pretty good out there as well in the first 40 minutes.
Yeah, he's a guy that came in the I believe it was the Wyatt Kennedy trade, and was a guy looking for more opportunity, and he found it in the back end of the season last year, and is hoping to build on that this year, and obviously getting 3 assists in his first game offensively is obviously very good. I don't know if he's going to be a guy you're going to rely on as an offensive defenseman, but he is a guy that probably they're looking to be more of a two-way guy that can defend the house and get the puck out of the zone quickly, and then offense will probably be a bonus coming from a guy like him.
Adrian's a guy out of the Vaughan Kings, and when he was with the Windsor Spitfires up until the deadline, he was finding himself as the number 7 defenseman, sometimes swapping in with Hicks, the defenseman in Windsor. And so, hard to get minutes, hard for your game to develop when you're doing a lot of watching, but such a great opportunity. And I credit to John Winstanley and Adam Dennis for finding those kind of players and bringing them here and giving them an important role in the second half of the season when this team really started to gel.
Yeah, and he looks confident out there. Almost dropped the mitts with a pretty tough customer in Morelli there. So I think he just adds more depth to the blue line, and that's always important. There's going to be injuries, and Manzo is a guy who could move up and down the lineup, I think, and we'll see how that plays out.
Well, 4 minutes before puck drop of a tie game here in North Bay. It's been an entertaining game. Talk now, Chris, about the NCAA. We touched upon how we never used to even talk about the NCAA up until about a year ago, a little bit later than a year ago. And it was Nick Wellenreiter was the first player brought in once the floodgates opened, and his mark has been left on this franchise indelibly. He's got a goal here tonight. We now talk about players committing, and really that was one of the reasons Wyatt Kennedy was suddenly moved to Windsor at the last minute at the deadline. It was a surprise to everyone that Wyatt Kennedy would be dealt at the trade deadline. He seemed like such a fixture here, but his indication and from his agent to the Battalion was that he wasn't coming back next year, that whereas North Bay had thought they had earmarked him as an overage candidate, but he was not coming back. So, credit to Adam Dennis, John Winstanley to turn Kennedy into an asset as Manzo, but as it turns out, Kennedy is at Windsor Spitfires camp, and he's decided that, maybe the NCAA wasn't the right thing yet. So it's a bit of change of mind, perhaps. And there's going to be a lot of that because there's so little information.
Change of mind, change of opportunity.
Yeah.
It is very strange because you go look and you could think of an 05 player thinking, well, there's a truckload of 05s coming back, and I might not be one of the top ones. So then that's why you make a move. I mean, this team only had 2 05s in camp, Bronson Ride, and they brought in the forward for Klinkhammer from the Greater Sudbury Cubs. It was a Wolves prospect prior to that. So there really was opportunity for him there. So yeah, it's interesting to see how that played out. But I think the NCAA thing here with the battalion range is really going to go not so much this year, but next year. You're seeing a lot more NCAA teams grabbing guys that are even in grade 12. You know, like obviously these are the elite guys like Macklin, Celebrini, but guys that are even getting, you know, committed to before they're even done high school, but they somehow, you know, zip through their courses and end up getting eligible to play NCAA at 17. Macklin, Celebrini won. Gavin McKenna, the big one now. You just think how much money the Medicine Hat Tigers are losing this year when it would have been going around the Western Hockey League. Everybody would have wanted to come watch Gavin McKenna, much like they did in Erie when Connor McDavid was here. So I think the concern will be what happens to some of these star players, especially the 08 class, that will they be lured to go to NCAA at 18 or 19? And that'll be that's going to be a big question mark. And how is that going to impact the battalion?
While the OHL level, there was no conversation about NCAA up until this year. That's not the case for the OJHL or the NOJHL, where you have had graduates go to the NCAA.
Yeah, we have one who's sitting right in front of us, and Nate McDonald, who is the very successful goalie coach with the battalion, went on to play in Cornell, and Owen Say, who went to was with our really good 1920 team. He went to Mercyhurst Notre Dame as a 5th year, and then he's in the Calgary Flames organization now.
What would you say the average age of an NCAA Division I or Division III team is? The roster, there's not a lot of 19-year-olds getting a lot of minutes.
No, I don't think so, especially when you have 40 guys on the roster. It's a lot bigger roster size than in any form of major junior hockey. So yeah, it's interesting. I know a lot of people have been talking that you're going to see some of these players, maybe a guy like Porter Martone, coming back to play for their OHL team after starting the year in NCAA.
All right, we are ready to go. Third period action. 2-2 the score as North Bay has battled back.
New goalie in net. One very familiar to the battalion fans, and Mike McIver in net here before he goes on a trip to California to the Anaheim Ducks rookie camp.
Mikey McIver, fan favorite here in North Bay, and has been ever since he stepped in relief for Dom DeVincentis and has never looked back.
He really hasn't. Just a cool as a cucumber. He's a winner and carries a level of confidence that can't be taught. And I might know a little bit more about it because Mike McIver lived at our house as a billet when he was with the Trappers. So, you know, Mike is a great kid, but his confidence is something that is next level, I think.
Fresh sheet of ice for both teams, but North Bay starting shorthanded after the altercation that occurred at the 20-minute mark of the second period. Parker Vaughn getting an extra 2 minutes. And as a result, the 67's on a power play here. A chance to regain the lead, and McIver gets his first touch and so effectively clearing it as he always does, as he always has.
He's always taken pride in being very good at playing the puck.
That might be something that he learned from Dom DeVincentis, his mentor for a few seasons, who was also an effective puck handler. Aggressive penalty kill by Amadovsky, and he wins the puck battle.
Great patience there. Oh, but maybe a little bit too much patience.
Well, what happened is the puck hit the referee's skate as he tried to send it to his D-man in behind the net. So the referee's got to get into mid-season form and lift up those skates when the puck's coming by.
There's a good job by Konopasky making that extra effort there to get that puck out of the zone too.
Ekberg, Ishkok again makes a move, get around Greer, but couldn't pull the trigger. Puck at the side of the net and taken away by Harper. Vaughn at center. Warren drop pass to Ryder. Kelly, his shot off the mark, but Jaden Nelson got a toe on it anyway. Shot from the point off a shin pad. Enright steadies a puck, slings it through the crease area, and it comes all the way back out to center. Greer has to be careful. Krawchuk with a shot, and that's the first test on McIver here tonight as he comes in relief for the third period. Jack Lisson, 14 stops on 16 shots in 2 periods of work.
And he made some really good stops. I know the numbers aren't gaudy for him with 2 goals on 16 shots, but he did make some real quality saves in that second period.
Especially on the power play that were granted to Ottawa in the second period. Pass out in front, and it's off a leg and down the ice. North Bay is back at full strength. Nelson leaves it for Johnson. Whitehead back to Johnson behind the goal. He sustains a chop from Pronin in on the forecheck. Pronin gives Johnson another chop. Puck across the line, and it's deemed offside. And we've played 3 minutes and 26 seconds of the third period.
Yeah, a good pace to start the period, and the Ottawa 67's wanting to try to put some pressure on Mike McIver getting his first action of the preseason. It's Cole Vrugdenhill played in the victory over the Owen Sound Attack.
Face-off controlled by North Bay. Brown up on the left side. Kingwell takes over on his side of the blue line and slings a pass on the near side. Whitehead is corralled from behind by Pronin. Here's White pouncing on a loose puck, getting a shot on goal, and McIver at the top of his crease absorbs the puck.
Good job there, controlling that rebound, square to the shooter. Cool as a cucumber, that Mike McIver.
Face off to the right of McIver. Leaning in is Debratsev. He won the draw, got it to Manzo, who backhands it around to Pronin. Pronin was hit immediately by White. White stole the puck, left it there for Ekberg. Ekberg walking the line, sent it on the far side for Kuta, couldn't do anything with it. And Brown, nice outlet pass. Dubratsev through traffic and finding the puck taken away from him. Ekberg back the other way. Amadovsky takes the shot, missing on that far side. The defenseman got a piece of it. Puck lifted into Ottawa territory. Ishkok again back for it. Morelli, his partner, on the far side, up on the left wall. Krawchuk wearing Chris Barless's old number. And Chris Barless, the former Ottawa 67 stalwart, now in the Quebec League, playing for St. John. With the number 9 being worn capably by the youngster Krawchuk. Faceoff comes outside the Battalion line. Pereira sends the puck to the near side, a race for the puck. Konopasky back to his defensive partner, Harper. Harper's not the only Florida defenseman that North Bay's ever had. Avery Winslow was from Florida as well.
That's right.
The Sunshine
London
State.
I believe the London Knights.
Started with the London Knights and found ample opportunity and success right here in North Bay.
I think that was one of the first moves by a young GM at the time, Adam Dennis.
Bouncing puck for Briar Long on the backhand, and he sent it just wide. Pereira leaves it go. Long pinned to the wall by Morelli, and a big hit by Briar Long on Ishkakagan. Ishkakagan has got a bit of a target painted on his back here tonight. Krawchuk was spun off his skates. Long finds himself drifting into enemy territory all alone. Got a good hard shot away. That might have surprised Nelson. And now
he's got a great shot, Briar Long. Kind of fooled Nelson there a bit.
Zach Hubin was upended and ended up taking the net off its moorings in front of Jaden Nelson. And the referees and linesmen discussing where this face-off should be. And they're going to take it outside the 67's blue line after considerable discussion.
Spencer Bowes out there. He's been arguably the most dangerous 67 out there. Ekberg has looked very solid too. But Bowes seems to be around the puck, and when he has the puck in the offensive zone, good things happen.
He split last season between Pembroke and Rockland, ended up as a Rockland national. And he looks like he is cementing a spot on the big club this season. Amadovsky crossing the line. Pass on the far side. Great stop by Nelson, kicking out the right pad. Iggy Pazzi trying to keep it away from Bowes, twisting and turning. Wellenreiter cycling it for Amadovsky. That's Liram Amadovsky, the big brother.
Wellenreiter just didn't have a lot of room coming in there on that right wing with that right-hand shot. Had to go to the backhand to try to get some more room and made a nice pad save.
Enright wired one just wide from the point. He quickly moves it up to Wellenreiter. Wellenreiter circling on his side of the red line, and Bowes steers him into the wall, ending Wellenreiter's shift. Kingwell glancing it off the wall. Vandenberg runs over his man and carries on. That was Manzo getting steamrolled.
Big hit by Vandenberg.
White fires it towards the net. Manzo got in front of that one. A delayed penalty as Nelson races to the 67's bench, and McIver extinguishes the delayed penalty by making the stop. Now let's see what the penalty is.
Looks like Greer's going to the box ranch.
2 minutes for hooking to Kent Greer. Battalion power play was ranked number 6 in the OHL last year, and it was by virtue of the aggressive nature of their PK, and you're seeing that same spirit here in these preseason games.
Yeah, you know what I mean? The pressure on that defenseman when they get the puck at the blue line is something that definitely guys like Liram Amadovsky and Nick Wellenreiter can apply with that quickness. So I imagine they'll have that similar role this year too.
Jasper Kuda is getting set to take the face-off. He has Chitteroni and Vandenberg with him up front. Ishkakagan to Ekberg working the near point. Chitteroni back to Ishkakagan. Ekberg. Ishkakagan one-timer, and no trouble for Mikey McIver, who scooped that up and held on. Good puck movement by Ottawa in the early stages of the power play. That took 14 seconds, and they got a good shot on.
Nice play, Ekberg working the puck with Ishkakagan there at the top of the circle.
Ishkakagan keeps it in at the line. Chitteroni into the slot. The bumper man was Kelly. He heeled the shot, sent it wide of the net. They reset, and nice stop made by McIver, who tracked that perfectly and put the squeeze on it.
Great glove hand on Mike McIver.
He's a southpaw goalie, so North Bay with 2 southpaws.
Yes, that's right.
That plays tricks on the shooter sometimes.
Yeah, like looking to try to get that top shelf. It's a lot easier to track the puck with the catcher coming from that angle, trying to go bar down than a flat blocker. So.
And that puck gets by Ekberg, and now a race for it. Warren trying to get there ahead of Ishkakagan. Warren sidesteps a hit. Some good speed shown by Cameron Warren to get to that puck. Warren now back in a defensive posture, showing his abilities as a 200-foot player.
Good job there by Pronin getting to that loose puck and getting it out of the zone. As the rookie import and the rookie first rounder get to work together on the penalty kill.
Lead pass for Briar Long. He backhands it in deep. 35 seconds left in the penalty to Kent Greer. Puck sent in and comes to the side of the goal. McIver will trap it there and get a whistle.
So the one and only Bob Coles reminding us of the rules. The game will go directly to a shootout if it's tied.
We'll forego the formality of overtime and go straight to the fun and games. 11:23 left in the third period. 28 seconds left in the penalty to Greer. Kept in at the point, off the draw, White. One-timer White, rebound was sent wide to the net by Kelly. That was the setup they were looking for, and now the puck won't settle for White, and he's forced to retreat. Morelli rink wide. Amidovsky drifting in, and now here's a chance. Wellenreiter tried to go 5-hole, and that was shut down by Nelson. Dubratsev, you're right. Dubratsev getting a good look while penalty killing, channeling his inner Barclay Goodrow. Here's Kelly.
He was something else, wasn't he, that 1 year?
Here's Pazzi trying to get away on the left side, and Johnson did his homework before this game, realized you can't let Pazzi get away on you. Closed in on him and shut him down. Amidovsky bouncing puck off the glass. Johnson reverses, puck hit the back of the net, and Liram Amidovsky starting to throw his weight around.
Minnesota Wild definitely going to be pleased to see that as he prepares to head to the Minnesota Wild's camp.
And that was a good defensive play made by the aforementioned Liram Amidovsky, using the full extent of his 6'3" frame to disrupt a passing sequence. 9:48 to go. We've crossed the midway point. 30-25, the shots in favor of North Bay in front of a nice crowd here on a Wednesday night in September in North Bay.
On a beautiful night, beautiful summer we've had in North Bay this summer. We've been a bit spoiled after kind of a rainy June.
Off the face-off, battle for the puck. Harper gave it to Kunapasky, who gave it back to Harper. And Wellenreiter had his man tied up at the point. Now here's a one-hand effort, and the puck has gone in the net. Wow, what an effort. That was Iggy Pazzi, through sheer will and determination, forcing the puck and Jaden Nelson behind the goal line, and it's 3-2 North Bay.
Look at that effort by Pazzi and not stopping, moving his feet. Doesn't let the defender get in front of him, stayed in front and got the shot away and put home the rebound and the goaltender in the net.
Iggy Pazzi from Kharkiv, Ukraine, demonstrating why he has become a crowd favorite in North Bay. And here is Parker Vaughn, another budding crowd favorite, wearing number 16, Kyle Potts' old number. Bouncing puck wide of the goal. White ahead
Good
to
job by
Amidovsky.
Beach to separate the player from the puck. See what
Ekberg back to Deitch, fires, tipped wide of the net. So Carter Kunapaski and Harper assisting on that goal by Potsy, his first of the preseason. And there's a right pad save by Nelson. Nice for Kunapaski to get that assist at home here at the Memorial Gardens.
Great job on the transition, getting the puck out. And we talked about this line being able to have utilize their speed, and Iggy showed his speed on that play right there.
Speed and strength. He is sneaky strong. And now lead pass, and it's Ryder Carey. It's a 3-on-1. Carey in front, and the pass in behind Pronin. Kingwell trying to make something happen, muscling the puck into the slot area. Manzo from his knees, a second effort to get the puck down the ice. Whitehead leaves it. Kingwell, the former Navin grad. Chitteroni sends it in behind the goal. Pronin is back for it. Puck is chipped but not out. Gloved by McIver. He'll leave it for his defenseman as Ottawa tries to get changes in. Just over 7 minutes to go here in the third period. North Bay erasing a 2-goal deficit, now with a 3-2 lead. Chitteroni losing the puck, and 3 Battalion players back the other way. Long with a shot. That one glanced off the defender and went wide of the net.
Good job by Pereira keeping himself onside and allowing Briar Long to get that puck and get a shot away.
Krawczyk is sandwiched between Laird and Pereira. Kunapaski calmly back with the puck to his partner Harper. Harper ahead to Pereira. Hit puck taken away by Hubin, and Kunapaski trying to help out, and offside at the line. And Kunapaski picking up an assist on the go-ahead goal. Had to make a decision quickly whether to stay in position or advance and try to knock the puck off of Hubin's stick.
Showing a lot of composure, hasn't he?
Yes, he sure
Both
has.
young guys have, Warren and Kunapaski. Some good young players, and you know, Brock Chitteroni has shown some flashes as well. The high draft pick, first-round pick of the 67's.
Of course, Brock Chitteroni and his dad, Terry Chitteroni, no stranger to folks here in North Bay. He was a mainstay of the Sudbury Wolves back in the early 90s. And I'm sure there's a story or two that the North Bay Centennials faithful would have about Terry Chitteroni. Johnson back for it, advancing the puck on the right side. Hubin trying to get around Enright, and does just barely. Throws it in front. A nice setup, and who was there?
Right there again.
Spencer Bowes redirecting that puck just wide. Kelly trying to get a quick shot away, and the threat is taken away by McIver, who pounced on the puck in cat-like fashion with 5:35 to go in the third period as we take our second timeout of the final frame.
Yeah, good things. I mean, you really see, and you know it always happens. It doesn't matter preseason, regular season. When you get a goal, it adds an extra gear. And I think after you saw those 2 quick goals by that line of Wellenrider, Amidovsky, and Pazzi, I think they've kind of found another gear. And I think we just saw that on the go-ahead goal too, where Pazzi beat the defender to the puck, kept in front of him, and drove. Had a great net drive for a guy who's not very big. Give him credit for keeping his feet moving and driving to the middle of the ice and jamming home that goal.
You know, It appears that the North Bay Battalion roster from top to bottom has bought in to Ryan Houlihan's message.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, maybe got off to a little bit of a slow start in the first period, but they still did control a lot of the play, a couple bad turnovers. But yeah, it's been a good first couple of preseason games. I'm sure the coaching staff and Win Stanley and Adam Dennis have to be pleased with how things are looking so far.
Morelli, far side. There's a stop. They score. The initial stop made by McIver and Amadovsky. That's Nathan Amadovsky finding the back of the net.
I spoke too soon.
No, everything you said was right on. Except for Nathan Amadovsky.
Nice play there by Amadovsky again. Quick release just like his brother. Wasted no time when that second rebound came out and he put it by Mike McIver to even things at 3.
Well, Nathan Amadovsky, a first-round pick in last year's priority selection, 11th overall. Of course, his dad, Booyar, was an OHLer as well, now runs a hockey school in Alliston, I believe. And it's a win for the Amadovsky household when both their sons are on the score sheet in a 3-3 game.
Do they have that half jersey, the half Ottawa, half Battalion jersey? I don't know how that would look.
That would be a barber pole on one side and olive green on the other.
So our understanding is this is just going to go straight to the shootout. So
yeah,
if somebody doesn't score in the next 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
Ishkok ahead, and that one off the stick of Nick Whitehead and out of play. 4:37 to go in the third period.
Another player that's really stood out for me tonight has been Philip Ekberg. Not a lot of NHL picks on the 67's roster right now. Ekberg, a 7th-round pick of the Carolina Hurricanes. He reminds me of a guy you might remember. Not a lot of Swedes play in the OHL, but there was one that played here a number of years ago with the Centennials named Jonas Anderson. And Ekberg reminds me with a little bit of Jonas Anderson when he played here.
Now neither team wanting to make an unforced error, but both teams looking to end this one in regulation. There's a shot by Pereira off the goalpost. Jax Pereira leaving his mark on the iron. There's a shot ripped wide of the net as the teams exchange chances here in the final 4 minutes of the third. Laird ahead, Pereira. He got the crowd buzzing after that hard shot. Here's Briar Long looking for reinforcements, turns and fires towards the goal. Nelson leaves it for his defenseman. Ryan White moving it up on the left side. North Bay taking over possession. Iggy Potsy.
Let's see the response shift, how brother Liram tries to counter his brother's equalizer.
Puck rolling in on goal. Nelson left it for Caleb Deitch. Puck comes to the line. Manzo gambled and he lost. Here is a break, driving the net, sending it wide. You got to make a quick decision. Manzo reached for the puck.
Chitteroni, it's a good job there, keeping him on the outside. He had a tough time getting around to get a good scoring chance from that angle.
Here's Iggy Potsy near side, drop pass. Brown into the corner. Amadovsky using the big frame. And the puck comes out to center ice. Manzo quickly onto the far side. Two and a half minutes left. And
almost a dangerous turnover there, giving it to the trio, the deadly Battalion trio of Pazzi, Amadovsky, and Wellenreiter. But that shot deflects over the net in front of Nelson.
Well, those three, Pazzi, Amadovsky, Wellenreiter, have the effect of making the opposition defense, especially if they're young, make them nervous. Just 2.5 minutes left here. Ottawa has tied the game on a goal by Nathan Amadovsky. And out come the 67's. Zach Hubin, the former Huron-Perth Laker, using his big 6'6" frame to maximum advantage. Keeping it in at the line to Ekberg. Ekberg back to the line. Ishkak again, far side. A loose puck in front is swatted away. Ishkak again fires just wide of the goal. North Bay now just trying to get it out off the stick of Cali. Icing is indicated as Ishkak again gets back.
Close call there as the 67's try to take the lead there on a good opportunity in front of Mike McIver as that puck deflected wide.
This is a big face-off, even though it is only early September. And Vandenberg almost got a shot on goal, but he couldn't get it off in time. Ryder Cali, he's bumped. Whitehead battling, trying to dig the puck free. It comes to Brant Harper. He moves it off the wall. It's batted down by Morelli, picked up by Parker Vaughn. Ahead, and that dangerous looking rush evaporates, and back the other way comes Ottawa. Ishkak again. Morelli to center. Kent Greer being watched closely by Vandenberg, sent it down the ice, and that will be an icing call with 71 seconds left. The faceoff coming to the right of McIver.
It's a big face-off here, and they won't be able to get the change. Dubrovtsev, we talked about him in the face-off circle, going to be taking the draw here against Kuda.
Ottawa off the face-off. Shot, stop made by McIver. Back to the line, one-timer, and the puck hit Chitteroni in front and then just rolled ever so slowly in on goal, and McIver pounced on it for another face-off, now with 61 seconds left in the third period. Another big face-off. Dubrovtsev leans in for the Battalion. And this time, he wins the draw.
Nice
Enright in the final minute. Greer ahead. It's tipped in by Carey. Back for it is Ryan White. And the puck comes back. It got by Greer, and he tracks back. Rolling puck on a lot of snow, and then he's upended at the side of the goal. The evidence was in the legs of Kent Greer. The referee thought otherwise. Enright in front, and that changed direction. It went off the stick of Pronin.
Nice net drive there by Pronin, getting that stick down available for Enright to maybe find it for a tip in front of Nelson.
He had to battle through a defender to get into that position.
And a nice move at the blue line to keep the puck in, protected the puck, gave it back to Enright, who followed suit and found his stick in front.
And 23 seconds left, and it's a chance for Pereira, who hit the goalpost. Imagine the importance of that goalpost at that point. Hubin sends it on the far side. Spencer Bowes is there. And the puck chipped down the ice, and that should do it. As we've played 3 periods, and we're going to a shootout and foregoing the usual custom of the overtime period.
Just going to see, are we going to get a shaving here? And it looks like we are.
Well, the new rule is that they'll only shovel the ice in the Goldies area.
Oh, okay.
They used to do a path, but now it's just a shoveling of the goaltender's area, one of the new rules that the OHL has brought out, and that's exactly what we are seeing. Well, it's preseason hockey. We've got a shootout. Chris, who do you want to see out there for both teams? Who do you want to see, let's say, to take the first shot?
Well, I think you got to think Bose maybe Amidovsky, and I think Ekberg. I think you got to see. You're going to probably see Ekberg would be one for sure. For Ottawa Battalion, you probably could throw out the first line. Hazy, Wellenreiter, and Amidovsky.
How important is it to give the 16-year-olds a chance in the shootout just for their development? Like a Cameron Warren and a Jack Pereira.
Well, we'll see how important it is in the coming moments.
Let some of those U16 players show us what they got, is what I would like to see.
Brock Chitteroni and Warren, are you saying should be the first shooter?
Yeah, why not? Well, let's see what Dave Cameron and Ryan Oulahan think. They're actually paid to make these high-level decisions.
Morelli leaning on the bench, looking like he was going to go on, but it's not going to be Morelli. Not at this point.
All right, so here we go. Nathan Amidovsky will start things off for the Ottawa 67. And here he goes, taking a wide route. Fires, and a stop made by McIver. You could hear it glancing off his stick and over the glass.
Mike is very patient in there. He's not going. I will tell you, if someone gets close enough, he will poke check.
Well, it's a city of brotherly love as Liram Amidovsky gets a crack at it. The first shooter for the North Bay Battalion. Let's see what Big Brother has. Stop made by Nelson.
Tried the off speed and didn't fool him. Good job by Nelson to stay with him, and the patience coming in that slowly.
Well, you picked this one. It's Philip Ekberg.
We called it that he would be one.
7th round pick of the Carolina Hurricanes.
I'm going to say watch 5-hole.
The Swedish forward drifting in and makes a move, and that puck stayed out. It hit the side of the net.
Too many moves, too far past the hash marks.
Nick Wellenreiter from Waterdown.
Maybe we saw a little bit of a poke check there that might have.
Wellenreiter signed as a free agent last year when the floodgates opened for NCAA commits.
Moving to the center of the ice here for a shot.
Ever so slowly. Wow! Wellenreiter finds the back of the net.
Patrick Kanish, very Patrick Kanish, moving to the middle of the ice and trying to open up some space on that glove side. Coming in so slowly, the goalie has no movement.
Last year, Vandenberg was with the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders. Let's see what Vandenberg can do. Stop! Game, set, and match for the North Bay Battalion in the shootout. And their record in the preseason improves to 2-0.
What a great finish. And yeah, an exciting game. As we said, lots of big hits. The compete level very high, and some maybe not highlight reel goals, but hard-working, gritty goals. And you need those in the preseason, regular season, and in the playoffs.
You know, last year the Ottawa 67's went to extra time and lost 10 of those situations and lost valuable points in the race for the 8th and final playoff spot. They ended up 4 points behind North Bay. They're going to have to find ways to win when we go past regulation and into the extra frames, because it cost them, in my opinion, last year. But the North Bay Battalion triumphant on home ice, their first time to perform in front of the home crowd, and everyone leaves a winner. Everyone is happy as they file for the exits here at the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens.
No 3 stars, but we will give a kudos to Inat Pazzi, who was the 3-point guy. He's matching the pace of that Manzo made with the 3 points in the preseason opener for the Battalion against Owen Sound. So
Manzo mania continues, yeah, with Iggy Pazzi. He would be your first star. And second star, I would have to think with well, let's say with 30 saves, I want to say Jaden Nelson, but there could be others. Well, what do you say? Let's take one from Ottawa, and maybe that would be Nathan Amadofsky.
You like Nathan Amadofsky? Yeah, give it to Nathan Amadofsky.
I love Nathan Amadofsky, and third star, big brother Liram Amadofsky.
There you go.
How about that?
That's perfect.
Okay. Well, Chris, it's been fun live streaming on @OHL Battalion on the first ever YouTube live stream game. And folks at home, we thank you for watching us on YouTube. I think if you saw what Chris and I saw, it's going to be a really exciting season.
Absolutely. A lot to look forward to. A lot of new faces, and I think a lot of people are going to be really impressed. And come to the rink, you won't be disappointed.
It was a big crowd and a come-from-behind win, although Ottawa, with a push on that Amadofsky goal, made it interesting and pushed us into the shootout, where we saw Nick Wellenreiter score on North Bay's second attempt, and Mikey McIver looking solid in the shootout as usual, shutting the door.
Yeah, you know, as a goaltender, you can't let the player make the first move on the shootout. He showed a lot of patience in that. Obviously, the last play there by Vandenberg trying to play the off-speed shot that didn't fool Jaden Nelson, but did a great job of, you know, and maybe even with maybe a bit of a poke check, we'll say, on Ekberg's play. Just did the job that he's done so well since he's taken over as the #1 goalie here.
We'll make the final here in North Bay. 4-3 for the Battalion in a shootout. North Bay with 34 shots on goal to Ottawa's 30. And we thank you so much for joining us on the @OHL Battalion YouTube live stream. Chris Dawson, Ranjan Rupal here in the broadcast booth. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.